And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, and I don't know where to start. First of all, the What is a Woman documentary, film, movie, whatever you want to call it, had Twitter in the tizzy. Executives quit. They call Elon Musk a right-wing conspiracy theorist, all types of stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, The Little Mermaid caused IMDb to change their policy, or to at least enforce a particular piece of their policy due to review bombing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, Andrew Tate granted BBC News an interview at his home. It was kind of a dumpster fire a little bit, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Also, Travis Rudolph, the former NFL player, got found not guilty on all charges as it relates to the murder trial, the murder charge he was facing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, Tim Scott, the Republican senator for South Carolina, is running for president, and he went to The View, and you know how The View is. It's a hen, it's a cackling hen farm, leftist hens. It was a whole big mess. We're going to get into that. Did you hear the sonic boom all over the DC metro area? We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on tonight. There's quite a bit to get into. Some things I have covered, some things I have not covered, and a whole lot more. All right, but y'all know how I do. First and foremost, y'all please visit my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Visit the website right now. Go to the front page of the website. And for each video that I produce, there will be an article right there on the site that'll give you sources from left, right, politically agnostic, independent, whatever you want to call it, right there on AnthonyBLogan.com. Also, you go to the contact page, AnthonyBLogan.com/contact. You can find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff is right there on AnthonyBLogan.com/contact. Speaking about my contact information, if you're ever wondering if you're talking to me or conversing with me about a particular thing, you probably are not, especially if it's about some Forex or some other kind of weird, random Nigerian, Albanian troll type stuff. Please don't respond to these people. When you respond, when you reply to my videos and then someone replies to you, I got to rephrase that just so I can be totally clear, crystal clear. When you comment on one of my videos on the YouTubes and then someone replies to you and then that person looks like me, but they're talking about some weird random stuff that seems too good to be true or kind of scammy, it is scammy. Don't nobody need to be getting scammed in 2023, going into 2024. We're way too old for that. We're way too smart for that. Let's not get scammed anymore. Please, please, please be careful who you're talking to on these internets, all right? And the same thing goes for my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm confirmed on all those. I'm verified on all those. I got a little blue check by my name on all those particular platforms. If you don't see the blue check, and it looks like me, it is not me. So don't nobody get scammed, especially on Facebook and Instagram, because you got to do ID verification on those websites. You got to send in your ID, and then they confirm that it is, in fact, you. And I think the way it is on Facebook, if you want to change your profile picture, they're going to have to wait a little bit to keep your blue check because it might not be you. You might be trying to impersonate. So, again, y'all please be careful. Beware of what's happening out here on these interweb streets. All right, so I got my my PSA out the way. Now we got to get into quite a few topics. Have you guys seen the smoke that's been going on? I kind of want to get into the smoke. Now, I don't mean like I want trouble. I don't want no problem. Like I said in my Travis Rudolph video, I don't want no problems, okay? I got my hands up. I'm not trying to fight. But if you bring the fight to me, then we can have a fireworks battle. We can have a ammunition battle. We can see who has the biggest rifle, handgun, shotgun, slingshot, bow and arrow, crossbow, sling blade, whatever you got. We can have a contest. We can have an ammunition, weapons, weaponry contest if you want to do it. But me, I love peace. I don't want no smoke, no problems. And speaking of smoke, have you guys seen the smoke in New York City? And as a matter of fact, are you guys affected by the smoke? So y'all let me know in the chat. I'm reading what's going on here. There are Canadian quote unquote wildfires. And matter of fact, before I even get into that, and before I get into videos of the actual fire and pictures and whatnot, do you guys think this was arson? Was it done on purpose? Are we dealing with climate activists? What's going on? Are they just wildfires or is it something else going on? I don't know. The news says it's wildfires. I don't have any evidence to the contrary. So that's all I can say right now. But quite a few of you guys, I was reading some of the comments elsewhere. You guys are like, it's a controlled thing from some climate activists. It was arson. What do you guys think about that? I'll be reading the comments. But are you guys affected by it? Are you in New York, Philly, Connecticut, or in that particular part of the country? Y'all let me know. It's smoky tonight in Chesapeake. I was hearing about that. They said it was smoky in Outer Banks, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, out there in that part of the world. You smell it in Missouri, Bina? Now, I was reading that it'll come down to Tennessee. Now, I was looking outside earlier. I can't tell if it's cloudy, overcast, or what's going on. It's not, I don't see anything orange like it is in New York. Okay. Matter of fact, okay, we got to get straight to some videos here. And shout out to the Right to Bear memes. I'm seeing some crazy memes from this. I'm going to get to the memes in a minute, but I have not seen anything quite like what's happening in New York City. I've not seen the orange glow. So I don't know too much about that. Let me try to find, let me find the original video I'm looking for, and we keep on rocking and rolling. There we go. All right, so check it out. So here is the video in question. Now, to you guys in New York, what bridge is this? Is that the Brooklyn Bridge? I don't know about my New York landmarks. Y'all please forgive me if I'm ignorant about that. It's not my fault. But here is a bridge out there in New York. This is a real shot of New York, and you see the orange haze that's everywhere. I mean, they said the air quality is the worst on record, which is about 35 years of record. It's the worst on record. It's pretty bad. We're talking about 9/11. It was worse than that. It's real bad out there. Now, people say that this always happens in California. It's a normal thing in California. But California, I mean, it's a desert, and you have dry conditions. So anything that is not necessarily a desert, any kind of actual trees are going to burn, and it won't be too hard for it to burn. When you're talking about New York, it's not a desert over there. It's not, this is not common for the East Coast to have. So that is the haze right now. Okay. Is that the Brooklyn Bridge? George Washington Bridge? Okay, George Washington. That's the George Washington Bridge. Yeah, you guys are saying it's orange in Pennsylvania. Wow, that's crazy. That's totally crazy. Yeah, it resembles a desert dirt storm, like a haboob. It looks like what happens over in Arizona where you have the dust storms, right? That's crazy. Oh, the smell. Hold on. Jay Blaze says, I'm out here in Philly. It's really bad. It was giving me headaches. Wow. Now, here's the question. Is it better inside? You're talking about staying indoors, but at a certain point, how much better can it be inside? If the air outside is like that, how much better can it be inside? Your air filter, your little MERV 15 air filter, ain't gonna do nothing up against all that smoke coming from the Canadian wildfires. So, I don't understand what's really going on. Now, we got some memes, of course, from this. We do have a few memes. Can we get to the memes right quick? There we go. So We have somebody on the bridge. I'm not sure who that is. Maybe you guys recognize who that is right there on the bridge. That's pretty interesting. So shout out to whoever did that. We have the a giant specter up on the GW Bridge in New York City in the mist. Imagine if you're on the bridge and you see something like that in this particular sepia tone action going on. I'll be like, look, man, I don't know what happened, who did what, but please send that back to the dimension that it came from. Ain't nobody got time for that right there. Okie dokie. And then I can't breathe. Okay, of course, that's suitable for that right there. All right. So shout out to this meme. And shout out to Martina Marcota. She posted this picture here of the difference in between New York City. Hold on, let's see if I can just open it that way. Yeah, there we go. New York City on Monday, nice and clear, compared to what's happening on Wednesday. I mean, completely invisible. They're grounding flights. It's a whole lot going on. All right. That is pretty bad. Now, I don't know when it's going to actually be gone, but right now it's bad. And I'm hearing from you guys that it's like that in other parts of the country as well. It's like that in Philly. It's getting bad down there in Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Outer Banks, North Carolina. It's getting bad pretty much everywhere. I hope we don't get that orange haze, that orange glow down here in Tennessee. That's not going to be very, very good. I'm not trying to go outside and choke to be trying to breathe air. But that's what's happening right now. So if you guys are dealing with that, hey, hopefully it subsides soon, because that's no bueno. And for the guys that for the guys that say, California is always like that, well, hey, man, I don't know how you do with California. California got too much going on. The only fear I had in Virginia was the occasional hurricane, but it wasn't, not even the fear of tornadoes, really. Earthquakes, wildfires, that's a foreign thing to me coming from Virginia. And the only thing that I got to do with out here in Tennessee is the occasional tornado threat, but there's no hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires, none of that weird stuff going on out here where I live. Okay, it gets hot in the summertime, but that's fine. I like the heat. Okay, I'm the kind of guy to walk outside, no socks, no shoes, barefoot on the concrete, grass, whatever. Okay, if a spider bite me, I'll be all right. I ain't gonna die. But anyway, I digress. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Worse tomorrow, Jackie? Oh, that's no good. Is it gonna be worse in New York City or worse for other parts of the country? That's what I'd like to know. Is smoke everywhere in New York City or in New York? Gene Douglas. Pamela says, it was so strange. My classroom windows went from gray haze to orange for hours. The kids were a bit freaked. I told them it looks like this in New York City in August, which we're near. They calmed down. Okay, so you must got like small kids. Shout out to them. I can understand why they would freak out over something like that, because you're not used to seeing anything like that going. You're like, okay, are we in a movie right now? We about to be abducted by aliens? What's really happening? So, yeah. It says, New Girl says, 10 million acres are in flames. That's quite a bit of acres. That is quite a bit of acres. It's really bad in New Jersey, New York, D.C., Maryland. Yeah, that's no bueno. Buffalo, New York is worse. Worse tomorrow in Buffalo, New York. So is it going to be worse tomorrow? So I guess maybe there's more fire, more smoke from the fire coming. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find an aerial. Let me see if I can find a radar. Maybe the smoke might be on the radar. I'm gonna see if I can find that. Y'all give me a second. All right, I'm gonna pull up a weather radar in New York over in Buffalo. So I want to see. I mean, there's rain, it looks like, but I can't really see the smoke. All right, I want to see if I can find smoke on radar. So what I'm seeing right here, hold on. What I'm seeing right here is rain over New York. Okay, like up here, Buffalo, Toronto. on the lake, on the big lake, of course. That all appears to be rain, but I think I'll be able to find smoke as well. Y'all let me know. Let me see. Reckless Conduct says, I'm in Maine, no smoke from Kennedy here. Well, hey, lucky you. Lucky. I'm glad that is the case. All right. So, yeah, let's go ahead and keep on rocking and rolling here. But let me see if I can find a smoke radar. If that's even possible. Okay, there we go. Shout out New York Times. They're good for something. Okay, so here's a map. And it's showing going into tomorrow what's going to happen. So I guess you have the orange areas right here. That's all the smoke. And you can see how you have the orange right off the coast of Eastern Shore of Maryland, going down Virginia Beach, and out here, Hatteras, Kildover Hills, the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And then, of course, Philly is enveloped with it right now. Right here, you have Dover, Delaware. And then you're getting into Washington, D.C., right up in here. And then the outskirts of Maryland, other parts of Pennsylvania. So it's really bad right in that particular area. And then, of course, right here, you have Buffalo, New York, right next to Toronto. Well, Buffalo's right there. And I think right there is Rochester, right here on the lake. So that area is pretty bad. But see, over here in Maine, you guys are not experiencing it at all. You're pretty much, you over in Bangor. You're not going to experience the smoke. But see, it's going to come down here. So I am right up in here, right above Atlanta. I'm right up in here in Tennessee. Let me see if we can zoom in a little bit. All right. So I'm right here. So I didn't really see the orange things that you guys saw, but I did see some haze. I saw some haze, but it wasn't orange. It was like overcast. All right. And let's see if it's going to get worse. I think it just kind of will go away. So even down at ATL, they're experiencing it. Savannah, Jacksonville, Florida, they're experiencing it. So it's a pretty widespread thing. But most of you guys up here, Philly, New York, Maryland, Jersey, you guys are experiencing it real bad. All right. So, yeah, shout out to Toronto. Yeah, I know about Toronto. I have family in Buffalo. We had our family reunion in Buffalo. Well, actually, we had it in Niagara Falls, U.S. and Canada. That was a long time ago. So I got family up that way. So yeah, shout out to you guys up there in the Great White North, right on the lake. All right, they can smell it in Atlanta. I can't smell it here. I've been outside today. I mean, I've been moving around doing my thing, but there is a haze. There is a haze. But I thought it was just kind of cloudy. You ever see like an overcast day when it's not really raining? It's like it's about to rain, but it didn't rain. That's kind of the way it looks right now. But I don't see any kind of orange glow at all. All right. Shout out to Ottawa, Ontario. Big up to you. All right. Well, we have quite a bit going on here. Is there any kind of issues in Boston? Boston, you guys aren't really experiencing the haze like that. You got a little bit of overcast, but not really. This is looking like more Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, maybe even up to Scranton, Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden's from. Harrisburg, Philly, Dover, Delaware, Washington, D.C., out there, PG, Frederick, Moco, that particular area, down the coast, down the beach, Virginia Beach, down Hatteras, Outer Banks. But anyway, I'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. Are they trying to tell you guys to wear a mask if you live in a place where you got all the smoke? Are you trying to tell you all to put a mask on? That'd be crazy. Like that ain't going to do a thing. That is not going to do a thing, and everybody knows it. So ain't no point. All righty. We got some more topics to get through. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? I don't think I put it on my title here, but let's talk about PGA Tour merging with Live Golf. Now, have you guys been following this? Do you guys understand what's going on? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. And this is part of the reason why I don't claim to be the moral police. I don't really like talking about morality and things like that when it comes to certain things. Now, some things I think we can all agree on universally that shouldn't be done. Okay, when you're talking about messing with kids and whatnot, I think everybody's going to say, okay, yeah, you're right about that. Now, some people don't agree, and now we got a problem. We'll get to a fight over that in a little bit. But for the most part, things messing with, leave the kids alone, right? But some things I don't really argue when it comes to morality. Okay, so here's the issue. Now, PGA Tour, that's an American thing, right? PGA Tour. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Of course, you have golfers that are not American, but this is an American company. All right. Let me see. Yeah, it's American. You have the world's top golfers that golf in the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, a lot of these guys. I'll get to Tiger and Rory specifically in the moment. Now you have kind of a quote unquote upstart league called Live Golf. Live Golf is backed by the Saudis. Okay. Now the Saudis through Live Golf were offering big contracts to PGA Tour golfers. I'm talking about in the 6-digit millions, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods were offered 1.2 billion with a B combined, and the majority of that was going to be Tiger. Imagine getting offered a contract worth $800 billion to play golf. How can you refuse? Why would you refuse? $800 million to play golf? Sign me up. I'm Tiger Woods. I'm past my prime. I'm still good. I'm still Tiger Woods. $800 million to play golf? Okay, what's going on? But guess what? Was it $200 million to Phil? Okay, Phil Mickelson. But check it out. They refused the contract, speaking about Tiger and Rory McIlroy, because they wanted to remain loyal to the PGA. Huh? And then the PGA went on this whole morality thing. Oh, well, you guys, there was a bunch of lawsuits. There was, of course, lawsuits and whatnot because they're trying to compete for territory over the golf. You're going to get lawyers involved. And one of the lawsuits, the commissioner of the PGA, Jay Monahan, I think that's his name. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Jay Monahan, yes. Spelled with an O, Monahan. He said that Live Golf was trying to sports wash Saudi atrocities. And of course, we're talking about Jamal Khashoggi getting chopped up in the consulate, right? That's their main thing. And then, the whole thing about anti-LGBT, they're trying to frame the Saudis, and then by way of Saudi Arabia, Live Golf as some kind of evil entity, and it's evil and bad people. That's what the PGA did. They ran a whole anti-Saudi campaign, a morality campaign against Saudi Arabia, against Live Golf. And guess what? Guess what happened? Just not even a year later after that, not even a year after that was in the lawsuit, they have merged with Live Golf. Hey, you guys are evil. You chopped up Jamal Khashoggi in the consulate. Okay, we're going to merge with you now because we see it's too much money on the table. We're going to merge. So now Live Golf and the PGA Tour have combined. And guess who called it? Guess who called it? Your man Trump. Hold on. I have a quote we got to pull up right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. Hold on. He predicted it on Truth Social. There was a post. There we go. Let's pull it up right here. Here we go. Perfect. He called this back on July 18th of last year. He says all of those golfers that remain loyal to the very disloyal PGA in all of its different forms will pay a big price when the inevitable merger with Live comes, and you get nothing but a big thank you from PGA officials who make millions of dollars a year. If you don't take the money now, you will get nothing after the merger takes place. And only say how smart the original signees were. Good luck to all, and congrats to really talented Cam Smith on his incredible win. He said that July 18th, 2022, here we are, June 7th, 2023, and the merger happened. So if you were offered a big contract by Live Golf last year and you refused because you want to remain loyal to the PGA, loyal to the good guys, the guys who are on the right side of history, the guys who don't chop up their people in the consulate, if you did that, now what? There will be no more exorbitant contracts from Live Golf because they have accomplished their goal, okay? They have usurped golf. They've taken it because PGA, that's pretty much your main show. They've taken PGA and they got people on their side. They're going to get the money. They've won. They've won. So ain't going to be no more big contracts. So Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods turned down a combined $1.2 billion. That won't be an offer anymore. You're not going to get the offer because the whole point was to try and poach PGA guys over to Live. And if you didn't bite, then you didn't bite. Oh, well, you lost out on the money. Now, my question would be, okay, to the PGA, if I'm Tiger Woods, what am I being told by the PGA? Hey, man, thanks for your loyalty. We really appreciate it. Can I get some money, though? Can I get a little bit of a consolation prize? Nah, don't worry about it, man. We're cool. All that about them being so immoral, I don't even get into it. I don't even get into it. It's so ridiculous. All right. Yeah, people talking about selling the soul. It's like, what are we talking about? We're talking about golf. Like the Saudis, why are the Saudis bad? I don't understand. America does bad things around the world. We killed Muammar Gaddafi. We didn't kill millions of Iraqis, Afghans, all kind of people. Okay, so what though? I mean, who's perfect on the planet Earth? Show me the perfect person. And then here's something else though. We have no problem going to that gas pump and getting gasoline. And guess what? When the gas is high, be like, yo, Joe, what are you doing? We need you to go to Saudi Arabia and we need you to talk to Mohammed bin Salman. Talk to him and get the gas prices down, right? So when you see stuff like this going on, hey, check it out. When you see this going on, now Joe Biden's not crying about Khashoggi getting chopped up. He's not crying about LGBTs getting put in the penitentiary or whatever they do over there. Look, man, we got to get these oil prices down. We got the summer coming up. We got vacations. You got these brand new Ford trucks coming out. You got these big, these gas guzzlers that get 10 miles to the gallon. They weigh 8,000 pounds. We need that gas to come down. Okay. When the Saudis cut oil production, that's going to raise the price of gas that you pay at the pump. So they have control over that. Everybody knows it. We know it. When you go to the gas station, you don't say, oh, man, I'm selling my soul right now to put gas in my car. You put your gas in your car and go about your day. But then when it comes to getting money for playing golf, all of a sudden now you're on some kind of moral crisis. Please save the nonsense. I ain't even really with it, man. I ain't with it. You know, I don't with it. I don't get involved with it. Point blank. Right. And you know what's funny? Hold on. What's funny is that Saudi actually cut oil production. That was the funny part. They cut oil production like a few days ago, like right when the merger was about to happen. They cut oil production by 1 billion barrels a day. Okay, and look, Saudi Arabia cuts oil output by 1 million barrels per day to boost sagging prices, which means they wanted to raise the price. So they're making you pay more at the pump. So all that fist bumping and everything else didn't even do anything. It didn't even work. All the trying to attack them and whatnot, they are flexing their power. They're flexing their power, as are many nations around the world. Russia flexing the power, China flexing the power, Saudi flexing the power. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're not going to do a thing because at the end of the day, you need your cell phones, which China mainland makes. There's no cell phones made anywhere in the US of A at all. You need your gas, okay? And we want to cut production here in the USA. We want to cut our production. We don't want to have Keystone XL. We don't want to do offshore drilling. We're relying upon the Saudis. and the Russian Federation, quite frankly, we're relying upon them. So we want to go over there and destabilize their countries, engage in proxy wars to try and get their oil and bring it over here on tankers. But we can't even have production here in the States. I don't understand. I don't really get it. You want to offshore production and be relying upon foreign agencies. And then some are going to say, well, ABL, that oil from Keystone XL doesn't even go to us. But at the end of the day, you're going to have some kind of control over it because it's right here in the States. But whatever, I digress. Oh yeah, the gas going up. So get ready. Gas going up. I saw it coming. I got my my little Camry, my little four banger ready for it. I already know it's going to be crazy. My Toyota Tundra is going to be kind of in the, on ice for a little bit. I mean, I can afford the gas, but good grief, do I want to pay $200 for a gallon of gas? I really don't want to. I don't want to have a daily driver that costs me $200 to fill up every time I fill up. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. But whatever. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Now, here's a question I have for you guys. If you were offered $500 million to play golf by the Saudis, would you take it? And if not, then why not? I mean, at a certain point, you're going to have people and you're going to have countries that have problems. There's no perfect country on planet Earth. We all have problems where nobody's innocent. Nobody's a moral. There's no perfect moral country on the planet. We're not perfect. They're not perfect. So I don't really understand. Like, yeah, I'm going to go over there. Like, I'm not mad at these guys who play professional ball in the States going to China to play ball. I don't really see the problem. Okay, China has their issues, but hey, I'm a hypocrite if I say you should not go to China and play basketball. When I got this cell phone I use every day that came straight from China, most of my clothes came from China. I mean, I may not want it to be that way, but it is that way. The same guys that play basketball in China, they might not want to go to the Gangnam Sharks or whatever they're going. They don't want to go to the Fusha Sharks, but hey, man, you still got to eat. You still got bills to pay. You have a skill you can use and make a lot of money on it. So why wouldn't you do it? What are we talking about? I don't understand. I'm not a hypocrite like that. I'm not going to say it's okay to do one thing with a country, but not something else. Either it's okay or it's not okay. And then, quite frankly, the country and their government is not the same thing as people in the country. The people that work at the factory to make a cell phone are not going to be the same guys that are engaging in geopolitical warfare. They're working the job like you working the job. It's no difference. But I digress. Yeah, exactly, Gold. I'm getting the bag and I'm keeping it moving. I'm getting the bag and I'm keeping it moving. That's it. It ain't nothing else to it. Ain't nothing personal. It's just business. And then when you see companies talking about all this moral stuff, that will go away when the bottom line gets affected. Okay, it'll go away. Same thing, Bud Light. We saw what happened with Bud Light, right? They want to go do this whole moral thing about Dylan Mulvaney, and they stand with LGBTQ element of P, X, Y, and Z, all this, that, and the third. But then when the valuation dropped by 25% and they lost billions from a protest, all of a sudden now we got honky tonk commercials, countrified commercials, no more LGBT. You got the CEO throwing Mulvaney under the bus, talking about, oh, we didn't do that. That was a third party marketing company. Oh, okay. You want to disavow and break away from him now because the money was affected. Of course, and that's fine. That's totally fine. A business should behave in the best interest of the business. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, I'm not getting into the morality thing too much. Not too much. Okay, now if you torturing pet puppies or something in your lab, that's a little bit different. But I mean, come on, what are we talking about? But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And we got quite a few more topics on deck. Where are we going to go to next? Oh, the sonic boom in DC. Speaking about the East Coast, Maryland, DC, Virginia, the sonic boom. Now, do you guys live in do you guys live in the DC area? Or I heard that the boom was heard like way into Virginia, way into Maryland, maybe even West Virginia on the Panhandle, but Harper's Ferry. Did you guys hear the boom or feel the boom? So what they said happened was a plane took off from Tennessee right on the border of Virginia, which is right by Bristol. I've been to Bristol. They have, it's like a twin city. It's a city in Virginia and a city in Tennessee, both named Bristol. Now, fun fact, I'm not quite sure if they've resolved it, but the Virginia Bristol went bankrupt, but the Tennessee Bristol did not go bankrupt. Okay, and you could tell there's a difference in the states and what kind of laws they have to make a city thrive or not thrive. It's the same exact city with a line in the middle of it. Okay, it's no difference. I've been there before. The city is the same city. One went bankrupt, the other one didn't. But the city's in two different states. Anyway, I digress. The plane took off from right by there. I think it's a place called Blunttville. Anyway, it was going to go from that area to Long Island, New York. That was the plan. But for some reason, it did not land right there in Long Island. The logic is that at a certain point, autopilot was engaged, maybe when they got close to Long Island, and the plane turned to make the landing into Long Island, into the airport. But rather than landing, the plane kept going, and it just kind of went back the way it came, back towards Tennessee. Now, it did not come straight back in the same flight path, but it went in a general direction, parallel to the original flight path going up north into the east. It went south into the west, parallel, but not exactly on the same flight path. So this flight path back towards Tennessee took you right over Washington, D.C. and violated their airspace. That's a big no-no. You cannot do that. You're talking about, you got all kind of government installations. You got the president. You got Congress. You get into their airspace and you didn't ask air traffic control. You didn't get that cleared. You are going to have a problem. So they said fighter jets from Joint Base Andrews got up and chased the plane, and they went hypersonic. So when they go hypersonic, you're going faster than the speed of sound, and you're going to hear the loud sonic boom. Now, some said the boom was way too loud and was heard for way too broad of a space to only be the jets flying like that. Now, I've been down Oceana, down the beach in Virginia, and you got the jets down there, of course. There's always jets flying, a jet noise. Matter of fact, a jet crashed one time in an apartment building. Now, thank God nobody was there and nobody died, but it crashed literally into an apartment. Matter of fact, hold on. I know I'm kind of getting off track, but Virginia Beach jet crashed, apartment building. Yeah, you guys got to see this. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get right back to the sonic boom, but let's watch this right quick because this was something I wanted to review. Shout out to NBC, ABC.
It was late today after that military fighter jet crashed right into a busy neighborhood in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Let's get right to the pictures tonight. The fuselage smoldering between two apartment buildings.
Look at this. Look at this. A whole jet is in the apartments, inside the apartments. You can see the apartments right there. It crashed right inside, right in the middle of them. And the thing about Virginia, like the base is right there. So it's a lot of people that live right by the base, that probably work on base, or they might just live down there because it's, cheaper apartments, military housing is right there. And it's not out in the rural area, really. I mean, it is like on the base, you have open space, but once you get off the base, you're right in Virginia Beach. Okay, what's that? Like, what's the name of that street that's down there? I forget, but you right there. Oceana, First Colonial, is all right there.
The ejection seat that turned into a parachute for the two pilots. Both survived this. The seat now charred after crashing through a backyard fence. And all of this happened in a packed suburb, and tonight it is simply hard to believe no one on the ground was seriously hurt. Look at this map showing just how close this jet was to so many people on the ground.
Yeah, see, it's right there. So this right here, this street, you go down that way, you go straight to the beach, straight to the beach. Okay, the museum. I don't know what the museum is, but right there, that's like right by the beach, and the base is a little bit further, I think, south 264. But yeah, there's always jets flying around, and it crashed right there in some apartments.
Those dots there, one a middle school, another busy highway, the third a museum. The crash site right there in the middle. David Curley is in Virginia tonight to lead us off.
Just seconds after takeoff, the Navy jet was in trouble.
I looked up, the plane went straight up with no sound. Just the engines were gone. And then he went right into a dive. Then, boom, I could hear it hit, and I seen black smoke and instantly smelled jet fuel.
Now, this is an older video. It's not anything recent. We're kind of doing a little bit of a flashback because that was on my mind. This is not recent, so don't nobody get scared, okay? This was a while back in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
The FA-18 came crashing down onto an apartment complex.
The whole thing was in flames, the whole backyard, and then things started to explode, and that black smoke kept going.
A roof ripped off one building, others engulfed in flames. The initial crash then followed by explosions. Pat Kavanaugh on his couch heard the crash.
Got off the couch and went to the back door, the sliding door, and when I looked out, I saw a pilot laying there, bleeding from the nose, and his parachute hanging from the building. I knew exactly what happened. The jet had crashed.
The pilot was laying on his patio, and neighbor Colby Smith, who felt his walls shake and his...
Imagine a pilot ejects from the jet and lands on your patio. Imagine that in real life. Imagine that.
Power go out, came running to see what happened.
And I saw the pilot, I saw the parachute on the house, and he was still connected to it.
These two men and others at the apartment complex became the first responders, running to help the two Navy men.
And the pilot said, "I'm sorry for destroying your house." And I just bent down and I touched him. I was like, it's okay, it really is, are you okay? He was like, "I think I am."
The pilots were pulled away, leaving their ejector seats scattered in backyards. The two aviators may have waited until just the last moment to eject. Witnesses believe they were trying to avoid hitting two nearby schools.
Yeah.
Residents were shaken, one man sitting and crying, others taken to the hospital for injuries, smoke inhalation, as fire crews look for any other victims. It is a training squadron at Oceana, and this was a training mission. Late today, the Navy says the two-engine jet suffered a catastrophic malfunction.
Both of those aircrew ejected safely. The front seater was a student pilot. The back seater was an experienced...
A student pilot, and right above the apartments, right above the school, a museum, right there. Interstate right there, too. Could have been traffic. Imagine you in traffic and you see a jet fly right on, and you can't even do nothing about it.
Instructor.
That's significant because the student pilot was most likely at the controls. At last count, 9 injured, including the two pilots who are in good and fair condition. And remarkably, David, at this hour, no deaths
nobody died. I remember that. Yep.
Associated with this jet crash.
David, something catastrophic happened on takeoff or shortly after takeoff.
So, yeah, that was that. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to the whole thing that I was talking about before. But, yeah, we're speaking about, what was that? The sonic boom. Speaking about jets and whatnot. So, I've been down the beach. I've been Oceana, all of that. I've been to people's houses. They out there. The jets are very loud when they're over your head. I've heard jets take off. I'm not sure about hypersonic speed, though. I've been to air shows. Air shows are very loud. You ever been to an air show? You need, I've been to the air show when you're right there on the strip, on the strip where they take off. You're going to need those gun range headphones. It's very loud. Your ears are going to be hurting really badly if you don't have the gun range earphones. Matter of fact, they at the air show, they will sell you a pair of gun range headphones, not just the plugs. That's not really it. You need the noise canceling headphones with the batteries in them so you can have your ears protected. But anyway, it's very loud. But I've never heard a sonic boom to the point where it's shaking the whole area for miles and miles and miles. What they say, though, they said they took off from Joint Base Andrews to chase the plane that went over D.C. airspace because apparently the pilot had lost consciousness. Now, here's my question. When the pilots looked into the plane, it was a Cessna plane. When they looked into the plane, did they see people in there like screaming for help? Because it wasn't just the pilot that died. It was people in the plane with him. So what were they doing? That's the question. They've not said that. I'm sure that they saw the passengers in the plane like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on? and not just the pilot who was incapacitated. Now, they did not shoot the plane down, but what happened was the plane crashed in the mountains, in the Blue Ridge Mountains, on the east side of the Blue Ridge Mountains by Montebello, Virginia, which is not too far from Stanton. If you know about Virginia, if you're coming from the east to the west, going to West Virginia, that's like right there. So you come in 64, and then you go past Charlottesville, you hit Afton Mountain, Big Mountain. Once you go Afton Mountain, you coming down 81 on the way down, right? You got to take that turn and go down 81, and then you can come back to 64 to West Virginia in Lewisburg, but you got to pass Stanton. If you go straight down 81, you'll hit Roanoke eventually, but you're like in the valley at that point in 81. And that valley is still very, very, very mountainous, but you cannot drive in the Blue Ridge Mountains on the west side or the east side. But that's where the plane crashed, right in the Blue Ridge Mountain. And they're very, very high mountains, very high, very jagged, and they do look blue in real life. If you see them in a certain kind of light, they look blue, royal blue. It's crazy. But anyway, that's where the plane crashed, right there by Stanton, Virginia, off of Interstate 81 in the Blue Ridge Mountains on the east side, not in the valley. And they said they didn't shoot it down, it ran out of gas. So I don't know. That's the story. One thing I've seen from the media is that they said the pilot and crew were in MAGA world. So they're making it be like, oh, well, it wasn't really a big deal because they were Trump supporters. Pretty disgusting. I don't care if somebody is a Biden voter or Trump voter or whatever, and they die in the plane crash. It's like, okay, are we going to talk about that right now? Are we going to bring up politics right now? You got people that have died in the plane crash. I mean, why does it even matter what political party they are aligned with? But the media will do that. Politics and whatnot are crazy. It's nuts. It's totally nuts. They don't really care too much about the morals in politics don't exist. Morals in politics are a thing that always get discussed, but it doesn't really exist when you're talking about mudslinging and attacking. They don't really care about that at all. They don't care about that at all. All right. See, I'm reading some of the comments here. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Now, that's a good question. Brownie Cupcake says, what could those fighter jets have done to help the plane? I don't know. I don't think their mission was to help the plane. I think it was, okay, you're violating DC airspace. What's going on? Okay, we're shooting you down, but they didn't shoot him down. So I don't know what they were trying to do. They were with the guy for like 30 minutes they were trying to revive him some kind of way. Now, I don't know how they were going to do that. Maybe they were making noise. Maybe he was sleeping. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish I don't know what they were trying to do for a half hour. But you can't really do too much. You can't just go up to the plane and open it up, because I'm sure that the pressure would be a problem with an open air cabin high in the sky like that. That's going to be an issue. You're going to see some kind of, movie situation where it blows up. People are in the plane. They're going to fly out the plane. It's not like the plane that was 700 feet from the ground. The plane was probably much, much, much higher than that to be above the mountains. The mountains are much higher than 700 feet. So I don't know what could have been done. I really don't know. They saw the pilot slumped over. Yes, they did. Next one. That's what they said. Next online, pardon me. They looked into the cabin and saw him slumped over. But again, I'm thinking if you saw him slumped over, he had passengers, so you saw them too. And it's got to feel helpless because you can't really save the plane. What can you really do? There's not much you can do. If the plane is aggressive and trying to fight, you shoot it down. But if not, all you can do is try to revive the pilot by making noise, trying to wake him up. But beyond that, there's not much you can do. All right, not much you can do. Yeah, hold on. Medicine Tribe says this sparked a speculation and theories. It was a warning to potential donors. Yeah, they were talking about they were mega donors, all this, that, and the third. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up right quick. Plane crash, MAGA world. I'm gonna see if there's an article about that. Hold on. So it says Christians going to MAGA event when plane crash report. Let me see. Here it is. This is all right. This is them right here. All right, check it out. Christian diet guru, Tarzan star, husband en route to MAGA event when plane crash. So a Christian diet guru and her husband may have been flying to a MAGA-themed event in Florida when they died in a plane crash in Tennessee. Okay, so they were going to an event in Florida, but they were going to New York first. Does that make sense? I'm not really sure. Maybe they were maybe they flew to New York to hang out, and then they were going to leave from there to go to Florida. I don't really know. It says Christian diet guru Gwen Shamblin Laura, her husband, and 5 other people may have been flying to a MAGA-themed event in Florida when their plane crashed. So there was 6 in the plane. So it says Gwen Shamblin Laura, her husband. So 7 total people died in the plane crash. Kimberly Fletcher, who was reportedly due to speak at We the People Patriots Day rally, said she was heartbroken about the tragedy. I'm in Florida for an event I'm speaking at tomorrow. One of the sponsors was flying on a private plane with some friends. The plane went down and looks like there are no survivors. Please pray for them, their families, and the church members where they pastor. It is unclear which of the victims may have been sponsoring the Sunshine State event. Laura, 66, last year donated $4,000 to Trump Make America Great Again Committee and Donald J. Trump for president, citing FEC data. So, wow. Now, that's not the same plane, though. I don't think. That ain't the same plane. Hold on. This is old? This is 2 years ago. Yeah, that ain't it. So that's not even the same people. Hold on. Let me find the actual... Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I'm about to say, there wasn't no 6, 7 people in there. Hold on. Yeah, wait a minute. So this was also a donor. So here's a recent article. Give me a second. So this is from Monday, June 5th, 2023, The Guardian. Let me just get to the right thing here. Trump donor whose family died in Washington plane crash lost other daughter in diving tragedy. What's about all these plane crashes? It's not even the right one either. Wait a minute. Washington, this ain't it. Well, okay, they got it confused. They're probably thinking about Washington, D.C. That's not nowhere in Washington, D.C. So it says a leading Republican donor whose family members were killed in a plane crash in Virginia on Sunday following a pursuit by military jets. Okay, that's the right thing. Lost another daughter in a scuba diving tragedy 30 years ago. Wow. So, okay, here is the actual thing. John Rumpel, a Florida businessman and frequent contributor to Donald Trump's political operation, said his daughter, Adina Azarian, 49, and 2-year-old granddaughter were among 4 victims of the crash that caused a security scare when the plane flew over restricted airspace in Washington, D.C. Wow. What's going on with all these crashes? And it's kind of a little bit too much of a coincidence, what you think? What in the world is going on? So you had the one that happened a couple of years ago, which was a different plane crash, and they were also in Tennessee. And then this one, again in Tennessee, like what's going on? Really weird. Really, really, really weird. But I'm no conspiracy theorist. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. I'm just saying it's strange. I'm just saying it's strange. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. We got quite a few things going on. Where am I going to get to next? How about Travis Rudolph? Now, Travis Rudolph, you know what? Okay. You guys may know who Travis Rudolph is. I'm going to say this with all due respect and support for the verdict. I support the verdict, but I think Travis Rudolph made fatal mistakes that he shouldn't have made. And I'm not saying he deserved to go to the penitentiary, but if the mistakes aren't made, then he doesn't go. And I'm not even going to show his recent IG live after he got off because I gotta say this. I'm gonna just say it. Okay. I'm gonna just say it. I don't care. People get mad or triggered, whatever. I've been stopped caring about that. All right. So this is him right here. Wait a minute. It's some music, but I'm gonna turn it off a little bit. So Travis Rudolph just beat the case, right? That's him right there with the shirt off on IG Live. So you're dancing to rap music. It's violent rap music. You got your shirt off, chain on. Now, if it's me, I beat a murder case. I'm not going nowhere on no IG. You're not going to see me. I'm being very humble. Ain't going to be no bragging or rap songs or nothing like that. See, these guys don't move right. Now, I think the jury was right to find him not guilty. But I think he put himself in that situation. And at a certain point, you have to learn to avoid these situations, because if you are, okay. let me just start from the top. We know what's going on, right? With Travis Rudolph. If you don't know, let me explain. Let me just give you the rundown of what's happening. Now, Travis Rudolph got into a fight with his girlfriend, and the fight was over, I think he had other girls on his phone, something like that. Let me see if I can find the Ring camera footage. Let me see if I can find that, because that told the whole story right there, right? That told the whole story. Let me see if I can just pull it up right quick. Hold on. Let's not hear these guys talk. All right. Let me see if I can find it. Well, that ain't what I really want. That's some of it. But there was Ring camera footage of him and the girlfriend having the fight over some alleged cheating. Now, here's the problem, though. The girlfriend was married, not to him, but to somebody else. So she's talking about cheating. Meanwhile, she's married. She's a whole married woman. So this woman was bad from the beginning. She's married to somebody else, fighting you. She was literally hitting them in the face and whatnot on the Ring camera. There's evidence of that. There's documents of that. And you're still with her. And I'm sure that whole thing with the hitting and whatnot wasn't the first time he had some kind of altercation with her. So then what did she do? She texts her brother and is saying, hey, come shoot this S up. They are having a discussion about coming to hurt Travis Rudolph because she's mad about the girls on the phone, although she's married to somebody else. So the red flags are all over the place. If it's me, listen, if I'm Travis Rudolph, I do not deal with her at all. She's not going to be in my house. She's not going to be in my life. She's all bad, okay? All bad. A woman like that, a person like that, it don't matter if you are in a relationship, a friendship, whatever. A person like that should not be in your life. So this is just straight game for me. If you have that person in your life or a person like that, get them out of your life. But anyway, she sets him up. She calls her brother and their friends on him. Now, I have footage of that. Let me just get to it right quick. Hold on here. Now, here's his next mistake, though. Here's the next mistake. Let's go straight to it.
There is a chance. However, I go.
So these guys coming to the front door. Okay, these guys coming to the front door. One guy has his shirt off. They have a Ring camera. Now, I have not only a Ring camera, but a security camera, and I can see them right here on my phone. So if you pull up to my house and I'm seeing a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, a bunch of these black teens, one guy got his shirt off, it's at night, I don't know you, I'm going to communicate to you through my Ring camera, like, hey, what do y'all want? What's going on? Who y'all looking for? And if I don't get the appropriate answer, I'm going to say, okay, check it out. Here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to leave the front of the house. You guys are going to drive away, or I'm calling the police. Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to call the police right now, and you're going to leave. If they refuse to leave, police get called, and I got my gun on me. I'm ready to roll. As soon as the door gets breached, one of these idiots, when they put their boot on the door and the frame of the door is separated and I see moonlight come through the door, I am going to set it off. You're going to see the fireworks show of a century in there. I'm going to light them all up. But I didn't give you fair warning. Hey, I don't want no smoke. I'm soft, right? I'm a nice guy, soft guy. And y'all please leave, man. Like, I don't want no problems. If you don't, I'm gonna call the police. We ain't going nowhere. Where's Travis? All right. Ring. Okay, we got a home invasion about to happen. I got my gun, and if they're coming into the house, I'm gonna let it go. We're in Florida. Stand your ground law. Castle doctrine. Bet. The law's on my side. If they break in and I spray it up, I'm not going to go to jail, prison, let alone court. I'm not going to court. When the police come, they're going to scoop your dead body up and they're going to give me a handshake. Good job, sir. You did the right thing, sir. Appreciate it. I'm not going to court. I don't got time or money to be going to court, wasting my life, or going to the penitentiary behind some all right looking, ne'er-do-well, hood rat woman. I don't have time for that. Okay? But what does Travis do? Travis and his brother go outside to greet the gentleman. I'm not even going outside. Okay? I'm not going outside. You got to come see me, and I'm going to tell you to not do it. If you do it, though, you're going to die or be seriously injured. But they go outside, and of course, a fight happens. And then when the fight happens, Travis goes back in the house to get his gun. And then these knuckleheads get in their vehicle and drive away. And as they're driving away, Travis shoots at them. They don't shoot back at him. He shoots at them, but they don't shoot back. They have guns allegedly, but there were no guns found in the car and there was no shell casings found from them. It was only him. He let off like beyond 30 rounds with his rifle. He hits 2 of the 4. One of them dies. Now, that could have been totally avoided if you do what I say. Move smarter. Don't move this way. Now, he's lucky. He's so lucky. He should be thanking God every single day that he's not behind bars, because the jury could have ruled against him and it would have been factually correct. They would have been legally right. Now, would it have been the correct decision to make? I don't think so, because ultimately he was set up by the girlfriend. These guys came to his house and they said in court they wanted to fight with this guy. They wanted to fight him. They said it in court. So if you got 4 guys who come looking for a fight, 2 of them got guns on them, and your girlfriend sets you up, and then you wind up killing one of them, it's hard to convict you of first-degree murder on that. It's hard to convict you, because if they don't come to your house, if you don't get set up, then you're not in a situation. However, he could have handled it better. And after the fact, when you beat the case, you going on IG Live like John Morant, bragging about it. You're not using your brain. You can do it, but should you do it? You're not moving right. You're not moving right. Okay? So, yeah, I have no sympathy for the guys that died. They earned it. You play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. I don't care about them at all. They got what they deserve. One of them dead, oh well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have went on a dummy mission to this man's house looking for a fight. Don't come to my house looking for no fight. If you died, it's your fault. However, I'm concerned about Travis Rudolph. My concern is with him. I don't care about the wife or the girlfriend, pardon me, who's married to somebody else. The girlfriend should be locked up for setting Travis up. The guys that came should be behind bars for going to his house for a fight and for some gunplay or whatever. They should be the ones that are having to go to court back and forth and facing time in the penitentiary, not Travis. I'm worried about him. He's a guy that I have my heart out for. And speaking as a guy that has my heart out for him, you can't move this way. You can't do stuff like this, because you're risking your freedom, your life, reputation, money, all that. For what? For what? Yeah, 39 rounds. Hey, he's so lucky that the jury was on his side. That's really what happened, because the law may not support what he did, but the people support what he did. I have nothing against what the sentence, what the verdict was. Nothing against it. I think it was right. But also, if you are in that scenario, you got to understand how to handle yourself. You got to do it, man. You can't be out here like this. All right. Now, yeah, Holden, there was no gun found in the car. I was right. The gun was found on the lawn, not in the car. It's a difference because the shooting happened when they were in the car driving away. You see, they did bring guns with them, and that's part of the reason why he got off is because they had guns and they came there to fight him. And if they came for a fight, but they got guns, they probably wanted more than just a fight. If the fight got out of control, then they would have went to the gunplay. You see what I'm saying? So they went there with malicious intent. But the reason why he got locked up in Florida, stand your ground state, is because he went a little bit beyond what the law permits. And the jury found that he's okay, though. It's all good. There's no problem. So, yeah, the moral of the story is don't be around these negative people. If you got anybody in your life that's negative, wanting to fight, carrying on, violent, get away from them, because you might be able to handle them maybe at a certain point. You might be able to do with it because I don't know what he has or had with her, but you underestimate their ability to recruit people to come and ruin your life or to come jeopardize your life, your freedom, your money, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to have anybody like that around me. And if you beat a murder case, don't go out the next day on Instagram Live bragging about it, rapping the songs with your shirt off and stuff like that. You just, that's not how you move. So, yeah. But shout out to him, though. He shouldn't be behind bars. He shouldn't be locked up. But that whole thing could have been avoided. Point blank, period. And I gotta keep it all the way real. Okay? I gotta keep it all the way real. I like the verdict, but I don't like how the case, how the situation played out. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give. Yeah, no Strago Daggers. That's right. Stan Dang, I'll say your full name. But no strags, as they cool kids say. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Exactly. Next online says, good point on who you hang with, one's influencers. Correct. Hey, Doc Jeff, Chinese New Year in my 4-year. Chinese New Year in my 4-year, for sure. It'd be a whole light show in there. And that's all facts from me. All right, now let's move right along here. Where are we gonna go to next? Did you guys see the Andrew Tate BBC News interview? It was pretty interesting. I saw the whole 38-minute or so full uncut interview. There's a shorter version on BBC's YouTube page, probably on their website as well. I think it was like 10 minutes they cut it down to. It was interesting. The thing about Andrew Tate, if you guys don't know, he's an alpha male, I guess you would say influencer. That's probably the best way to describe him. That's probably the best way to describe him. Let me see if I could just pull up a screenshot of Andrew so you guys can see what's happening here.
Correct.
Rape.
All right, we're not going to talk about the R word right now, but that's Andrew right here, Andrew Tate. A brief bio about him. He is a pro kickboxer, and he is actually an American-born person who moved to UK when he was a teenager with his dad. His dad, as you can see in the background, he has chess pieces in the background. His dad was a world champion chess player, a chess master. So, of course, he could play chess as well. Him and his brother Tristan could play chess. They're really good at chess. But beyond playing chess and kickboxing, being an athlete and whatnot, he's also very popular online. A lot of alpha male type content that you may see on the internet. That's kind of what he does. He has hot takes about a lot of different things that has made him the most Googled man on earth. Andrew Tate, that's him. And a big part of the reason why he's controversial is because some things that he says about women can be seen as misogynistic by some. And the bigger problem is that you had little kids, like 11, 12-year-old boys, picking up on it and then using it in school. You see what I'm saying? So then you got concerned soccer moms like, hey, why is little Johnny talking like this? Where is he getting it from? Oh, Andrew Tate, let's attack this guy. So a lot of the heat toward him is coming from these soccer moms that are like, yo, do something about this man, ban this man, block this man. He cannot be influencing my 12-year-old to call girls fat pigs and whatnot. We can't have that going on, right? I'm not saying he does do that, but that's what they're saying he does. I'm not saying he does not do that either, though. I'm just saying it's what they say. Anyway, now he's in trouble in Romania where he lives because what he did was, like, his big claim to fortune was that he ran a cam girl company. Now, I won't get too graphic right now. I know we got little kids watching, but basically they're trying to say he was human trafficking. But he's like, nah, they're my girlfriends and we agree on it, whatever. So he was in jail for that. Him and his brother Tristan were in jail for that. But now they're out, but they're still, they're still looking into him. They're still investigating. He still could go to the penitentiary in Romania behind the allegations of, assault and sex trafficking, things of that nature. That's the whole thing about Andrew Tate right now that he's going through. So, of course, a lot of the interview was about that, about the criminal stuff. And the interviewer, the lady right here, let's see if I can put a screen. The lady right here was hammering Andrew for the entire interview, not the entire interview, but for a big part of the interview about the criminal stuff. He's like, hey, I can't really get into that because we got an open investigation. I can't really do too much about that. And then she's getting into some things that he says. And one thing I did not like that she did, what she did was try to link some criminal actions to things like emotional manipulation. Oh, you are an emotional manipulator. You convince women to do X, Y, and Z. And you're also being accused of sexual assault. I don't think it's okay to link manipulation to an actual crime and make it be on the same page. It's not on the same page. Now, you may not like manipulation. You may not like some things that he says, but it doesn't make it criminal. Now, if we're talking about actual criminal allegation, the charge against him going to prison, that's a whole different thing. Okay, let's compare apples to apples here. You may not like criminality or manipulation, but that ain't the same thing, okay? It's just not. So I did not like that too much. And there was one part at the end, I forgot what he said, but quite a bit in this interview right here that's on BBC, quite a bit was taken out of the final cut that they put on their website. I forget what it was. Wow, hold on. I got to go toward the end to see if I can jot my memory right quick. Let's check it out.
Is just disingenuous. If you actually watch the things I say, if you actually watch my comments about women, I've done long podcasts for hours long about females, talking about protecting for them, providing for them, how I believe a woman should be treated in a relationship.
Okay, there it is. I remember now. So, she was trying to say that he's like manipulating women, trying to control women. And then there was a quote where he was like, you got to control like she's a child or a dog or something like that. So then it was like you comparing women to dogs, which I don't think he was really trying to say. But it doesn't really matter if he said it or if he didn't say it. What he was talking about was if she wants to be protected, then I got to have a degree of control over her. And that's just a fact, though. And what he was saying is like, okay, check it out. If we're walking down a street and she wants to go down a dark alley and I say, no, let's not do that because it's dangerous down there. We don't want to get attacked. And then she refuses to listen to what he's saying, then he can't protect her because part of the protection is giving you the sound advice to avoid trouble. If you go right to the trouble and then trouble happens, then it's like, oh, I didn't protect you. But I can't protect you if I can't have a degree of control over you. You see what I'm saying? So he was talking about that, not trying to be abusive in the way of controlling you like your man Stephen Crowder. Okay, you can't have a car because you can't leave without me. That ain't what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, hey, you know what? Don't go that way. There's trouble that way. You got to be able to, to me, it made sense. But throughout the entire interview, it was her just trying to make him out to be the really bad person. Now, some may not like what Andrew talks about. Some may call him a pimp. I'm not quite sure that's the exact same thing. because now we're getting into human trafficking for real. Like, if you're talking about pimps, what they do, from what I see, the reason why they get locked up is because they have these underage girls in hotel rooms. I don't think it's the same thing. You know, I think that's a little bit different. That's usually what the pimps do. They'll have these little 14-year-old girls in hotel rooms, and then of course they're gonna get locked up for that because you have a child and using the child to engage in that type of thing. But if you have a woman that wants to be a cam model, she's 25 years old, is that the same thing? I'm not really sure. That's not really my lane, my cup of tea. I'm not into that. Okay, that's not what I'm into, but I'm just saying, is it a criminal offense? I'm not really sure. It wouldn't be a criminal offense here, not at all. Okay, you got what's your man's name? Hugh Hefner. Isn't that what he did? He had a whole house full of girls that he was with romantically that he put on the cover of Playboy magazine. So I don't know, man. Like that's kind of why I don't get into the moral arguments. We're talking about kids and whatnot. I think we can all agree to protect the children, but then when it comes to adults and the morality argument, we can say we don't like a certain thing, but talk about it being a criminal offense. I'm not really sure that's right to do. All right. Same thing with Live Golf and whatnot. Oh, they chopped up Jamal Khashoggi. How can you get money with the Saudis? Well, what do we do over here? It's weird. Yeah, exactly. If you are a willing participant and you're an adult, I might not like what you do, but I can't really stop it. It's the same thing with the LGBT. Okay. And that's what I always say. I'm not into the LGBT lifestyle. That's not my thing. But if you're an adult and you consent and the other adult consents, that's not my business. I'm not into your bedroom. My problem is when you indoctrinate children, when you get kids involved. Now I got a problem because it should be a universal thing to protect children. It shouldn't be a thing that's debated. Oh, well, maybe you can have a 5-year-old become transgender. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, because we all know what the next step is. If you can say that a 5-year-old boy can become a quote unquote trans person and get bottom surgery at 5 years old. All right, so what are we really talking about here? What are we really saying? What's the next step? No, I think not. I think not. But I digress. Hey, he could be creepy and that's fine, but is he a criminal? That's my whole thing. There's a lot of creeps out there that I don't like that I wouldn't wish prison on because it didn't commit a crime. That's just me, though. That's just me. Yeah, and you know what? What's crazy is that it is being debated right now. Speaking about children becoming transgender and whatnot, it is being debated. It is a real thing, and it should not be. It should not be. And speaking about the debates between people about this whole trans thing and children, have you guys seen what's happening out there in Glendale, California? There's quite a bit of fighting over the whole issue. And not only Glendale, California, but it's also all over. It's also some things happening on the East Coast, going back to the whole smoke situation out there in Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland. They're out there fighting as well over the whole thing. Let me pull up some videos right quick. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. So here is the video from Glendale. It says multiple law enforcements are on the scene as large crowds gather outside of Glendale Public School District in Glendale, California, over the students' right to choose their pronouns in school. This is not written very well. It might chat GPT, but basically the fight is over the LGBTQ indoctrination of children that the parents cannot opt out of. The parents are like, hey, we don't want this. We want to opt out. And a lot of these parents are religious. They're Armenian. You got some Hispanic parents out there, so they don't like what's happening. And of course, there is protest over it. Let me go ahead and just put this on the screen properly. So we got Antifa out there. We got some pro-left people out there. We got parents. We got police. We got all that stuff. Here in the background, we're not here to fight. Well, hey man, we might have to do that at a certain point. And it's, human beings fight sometimes. And I think that children, you can fight over kids. I think if the issue is about protecting kids, I'm not necessarily against a good old fashioned fight. Different angle of the same situation up there in the helicopter. Yeah, so the parents are fed up, like, yo, we can't have this go on. We cannot have this go on. And I gotta find an interview from one of the parents as well. I think she did a really good job breaking down what's going on. Because again, this is a serious issue that parents are concerned about. And again, that's Glendale, California. So if you're having that happening in California, that tells you we're kind of going in the right direction as far as parents fighting back. Now, as far as the whole thing happening to begin with, it shouldn't have been. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right? You have got to start somewhere. And let me see if I can find more here. I might not be able to find the interview. Might not be able to find that. Let me see if I can see something else here. Okay, that ain't it. And then this is more fighting. I'm going to play this particular thing right here. This is a so-called parent. Wait a minute. No, this ain't a parent. That's a teacher. Let's see what she says. This is a teacher that I believe supports the LGBT brainwashing the children. As young as how old? As young as 3 years old. This person says kids as young as 3 years old can know they are trans. If you're 3 years old, you're barely able to count to 100. How do you know that you are transgender? Is that even a thing? I think not. Okay, you might want to play dress up or whatever, but you still are what you are.
Hi. My name is Adina.
Yes, and I called your name, yes?
Yes.
Yes, go for it.
Yes, I'm a teacher in the district. I also teach in LUSD. I have 2 students in the district. I did intervention at Fremont, but I'm also a community member who volunteers extensively in Watts in South LA, and I work at the Children's Hospital Los Angeles with queer and trans youth in large groups. And so I deal with a lot of their trauma related to the heteronormative, Judeo-Christian, patriarchal, imperialist, capitalist system that oppresses them.
Oh boy, there's a lot there. First of all, Watts, South LA, Black community, right? And Hispanics, poor areas. So this right here is your white savior coming to those places to indoctrinate your children. That's what's happening right now. Let's keep on going.
And so, why critical race theory? I'm not just here in support of our LGBTQ youth. It's all connected. I'm in support of critical race theory and diversity, inclusion, equity training, because white people participate, for example, in the
Now we done brought race in it. Didn't I tell you? I already saw where this was going. So we're linking the LGBTQ elemental P, X, Y, and Z to black and brown. You see where we going? This is what they do all the time. Very racist.
Social welfare program in the history of the United States, and yet now they throw their hands up in the air when we look at our housing crisis. And Armenians talk about the genocide, but they received SSI, but they don't want to talk about the indigenous genocide of 1850 and the lack of reparations for black and indigenous people in this country. And they don't want to talk about how dare you as marginalized people come here and you don't want to talk about the oppressed trans youth who, your kids aren't even learning what they need to learn in this. That 1 in 2 will attempt suicide, and 95% know that they are trans when they are 3, 4, and 5 years old.
So then she tried to attack the Armenians because the Armenian parents are the main ones who are against the LGBT stuff. She went to the Armenian genocide. These people are sick. They're sick. I mean, legit sick. And these are the ones that are going to be teaching your children. Okay, you in the area, you in South LA, Watts, Compton, whatever, she'll be your teacher. She'll be your kid's teacher. That's what's going on. It's a mess. It's a crazy mess. All right. Do I have another video that I wanted to show? I think I do. I got to find it right quick because I wanted to show this this crazy teacher. I got to find that video. Y'all please give me a second while I scour the interwebs for that particular thing. I have to find this right now. But if you like what you're hearing so far, I know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up. All right, let me see if I can find this right here. This might be it. All right, no, that's not it. That's not it. Wow, I'm gonna find it. But there was one guy that had on like women's clothing, and he claimed to have kids, and he was talking about how important the LGBTQ LMNOP experience is for his kids. It was crazy. It was completely nuts, but not surprising in the least bit. And when you see what's going on, you pretty much just at a certain point you kind of get used to it. It's just like whatever. Let me see. I'm gonna find that video right now. There it is. I found it. Shout out to Greg Price for coming through with that one. So check it out. This is another supporter of LGBT. And one thing you want to notice about these videos is who's supportive of what's going on. You got to pay attention. You got to look at that. So here's the caption. Last night at the Glendale School Board meeting in California, a man in a skirt who said he's a father of 3 tells the board that parents who object to their kids being taught LGBT, quote, have the same ideology of the Proud Boys and hide their hate behind their children as the Proud Boys hide behind their masks. Now, do you see this guy's outfit?
Dear DOSD School Board, I want to say thank you for your service to this community. As a father of 3, having a child in the school system since 2008, I want to thank you and your predecessors for helping to create an inclusive, diversified learning environment which allows our children to thrive. When my children learn about Armenian heritage, they're not being indoctrinated.
Do you see this? I'm seeing yellow stockings, a little short skirt. You know what? Can I say it? Can I say it? Will y'all get offended? I don't think so, but can I say it? I see a pervert. I see a pervert. You have the Japanese schoolgirl type thing going on in public, right? With colorful stockings, some socks, boots, a little purse, a camisole, whatever that kind of outfit thing you got going on. This is crazy. This is like fetish wear you're wearing outside. These guys have become so emboldened. They put on their weekend fetish gear and they go outside with it. It's crazy. This is a grown man with kids. Imagine that household.
My children learn about the KKK and white nationalism, they're not being indoctrinated into the Proud Boys. So when my children learn about my community, the LGBTQIA+, they're not being indoctrinated. No ideology spoken. Our children are being educated, and thankfully there are some parents that are more concerned about hiding honest that their ideology is the same as the Proud Boys. So anyone who has got up here or gets up here and says, we don't hate you, it's about the children, are hiding their hate behind their children just as Proud Boys hide behind their masks. So thank you again for your service to our community, and know that actual community members.
These are the guys that call you a Nazi online. These are the guys that call you that, okay? They're going to be 585 pounds in their bed wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt. Or they're going to be guys look like this, looking like he is an engineer for a living. He might have did 25 years in the Navy, retires, becomes a pervert, and puts that on and goes to a school board meeting talking about let's brainwash your kids into being LGBT. That's what's going on. I mean, do we not see it? If I say that, am I being anti-LGBT? It's not even about being anti-LGBT. I don't care if he's gay or straight. That's not even the point. His sexuality isn't the point. What he likes in the bedroom isn't even the point. The point is what he's got going on right here. I know what I see. He could identify as straight. He's still a pervert. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on. And that is the problem. People that have this sexual deviant type stuff going on and mental illness claiming to be LGBT and using that as a shield to do whatever they want to do. Oh, I'm LGBT. So when I kidnap 14 kids, it's not anything wrong. I shouldn't go to prison. Sir, you're going into the wood chipper feet first. Point blank. But I digress. I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. But yeah, now I did a video about that in full. That's going to come out tomorrow. I got quite a few topics. I'm overrun with topics. I got so many topics, it's crazy. I got so many videos and things to do. It's a mess. Oh, and here's one more clip for you guys. One more clip, then I move on. Can I find it right quick, or did it get deleted? Hopefully it didn't get deleted. Where is it at? I know it's somewhere. But she was talking about how if you are Muslim and you don't want your kids to be brainwashed by the LGBTQ element of P, then you're a white supremacist. Real talk. So shout out to all the Muslims out there. You know, assalamu alaikum, bismillah, all that good stuff. Shout out to y'all. But check it out. Watch this.
And you know, and it's more complicated, I think, than a lot of people would like to think it is. This issue has unfortunately put some, not all, of course, but some Muslim families on the same side of an issue as white supremacists and outright bigots, and you know, however, the folks who I've talked to here today, I would not put in the same category as those folks, although, you know, it's again complicated because they're falling on the same side of this particular issue.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, what in the world was that? That's where we are nowadays. That's where we are. You're Muslim, you're religious, and you think that kids should not be indoctrinated. You are a white supremacist. Real talk. So, you know, we went from Mexican white supremacists, Indian white supremacists, to now Muslim white supremacists. If everybody is a white supremacist, what does that term even mean anymore? You could be anything and at the same time white supremacist. So what they're going to say, they probably already didn't say it. They say, I am white supremacist because, and it's a dumb argument to make. Look, just because white supremacists like going to cookouts and eating hamburgers and hot dogs, and I do too, are we the same? Am I a white supremacist? Do we match ideologically because of that? Is that what we're going to do? Because they have common sense and I have common sense. I'm a racist. I'm a white supremacist. I'm the same as them. Okay, Adolf Hitler breathed air and I breathe air too. Am I a Nazi? The dumbest people in the world are in charge of your kids at school. They're dumb. You know, they are not smart people. They have been able to take over the system and put their own things in it, but that's not showing intelligence. That's them showing dedication to a thing to get something accomplished, but they're not smart people. They're dumb. And this is part of the reason why your kids can't read. Well, not the only reason. If your kids can't read, it's partially your fault too. Unless your kids are dealing with a disability or something like that. But if your kids are not disabled and they can't read at a certain point, but anyway, I digress. A lot of kids are performing poorly in school or not to the level they should, partially due to bad teachers who don't really care about education. It's more about indoctrination. Okay. If the chalkboard is full of stuff, hold on. I got to find the meme right quick. Well, it's not even the meme, it's a picture. It's a picture that I want to show you guys right quick. But if your chalkboard is chock full of LGBTQ, LMNOP propaganda, then when do you have time to learn? When do you have any space to learn anything? I don't really get it. Oh, here it is right here. Check it out. Check this out. All right, hold on. Let's back up a little bit and put it right there. All right, so this, meet school teacher. All right, you have a non-binary, gender fluid person, no pronouns. Their shirt says protect trans kids. The chalkboard has every piece of LGBT thing she could find. Where do you have any space on the chalkboard for the things that matter, like, I don't know, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Where is any space for that? All I see is propaganda. That's all I see. You see what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Look, when did this happen? When I was a kid, this did not exist. I never saw any teacher that looked like this I never in my life as a kid saw anything like this. I got a taste of it in college, but not quite. I was dealing with some white liberal LGBT dudes, but they look like normies. They look like guys that work as a tax preparer in tax season or something like that. Okay, I'm talking about pocket protector, glasses, regular normie, nerdy guys. I've never seen this in a classroom ever in my life. And in my school career, K through 12 in college, never. Okay, back in my day, we had the Meemaws teaching math, nerdy white ladies. We had my man who was a black Muslim dude, hilarious. Never anything like this. This is something new. When did that even start? Within the past 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Okay, so I've been out of school since 2002, high school at least. And I was done with college like 06, 07, really. Like, I was done pretty much 06. So the past 15 years, I've been out the loop. I've not seen schools at all. All right. So, and then the thing about it is you see the kind of stuff all over the country too, not just in big cities. You see it in small towns. You see it all over the place. It's not just in one place. Hold on. Luke Pasternak says they were always there creeping around. They kept on a down low. Now it's on the up high. I suppose so. I suppose so. I only had one, and really, even having a teacher that was kind of young was not really that common. I think I had a teacher that was young, and there was one scandal where the teacher, it was two scandals actually. The teacher fled. All right, so one teacher, it was a couple. They wound up being a couple. Workplace romance, kind of dangerous, but it was my French teacher. A woman, she was kind of young, kind of pretty, white lady, probably in their late 20s, early 30s, right around that time. And then we had our geography teacher. I think he was probably about the same age as her. They get to workplace romance. They run away. They totally just leave the school. They quit. They get married. And before they left, he was giving us the SOL test answers. This is a standardized test you got to take in school. And rather than getting us prepared for it by, giving us certain questions, making the study, he gave us the answers. So he gets probably fired for that because that gets found out. And then he takes the girl who was my French teacher and they just leave. They just bounce. That was the only thing that ever happened in school. Never anything like that. Never any kind of LGBT stuff. I never heard anything about gay, none of that in school, ever. Not college, not K through 12, ever. That's new. Anyway, but I digress. Thank you to you guys for being here. Do I have anything else before I get to the super chats? I covered Travis Rudolph, Andrew Tate. Oh, shout out to my main man, Tim Scott. Hold on. I'm going to cover that briefly right quick because that was really weird. Tim Scott on The View was strange. All right, hold on. I'm not going to play the whole thing.
I'm sorry, sir. Do not.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. Wait a minute. Let me just go back a little bit and play some of this. All right, hold on 1 second.
A series of racially charged attacks from many of the show's liberal co-hosts.
You are the first black senator elected in the South since the Reconstruction. That would be about 114 years. Yet you say that your life disproves leftist lies. And
Yes.
My question to you is, I'm the exception, right? You're the exception. Maybe even Miss Whoopi Goldberg is the exception. Oh, she's.
Can we stop for a minute, though? Because Sunny Hostin is Hispanic. Asuncion Hostin, you're Hispanic. You go between the black and Hispanic card whenever it benefits you. Okay? So Like, what's going on? Do you have Goya and whatnot in your crib? Do you speak Spanish? Like, what's going on? You kind of go between both worlds. It's so weird. It's kind of like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris can be a chameleon. Whenever there's any kind of event for non-whites, they send Kamala Harris. Okay, you have an Indian event, go to the Indian event, be Indian. Black event, go there, be black. Biracial, brown skin, go there. Puerto Rican, any kind of thing you might be able to blend in, do that. Native American, okay, we know you're not Native American, but you look similar to them, put on some feathers, and, blend in with the environment. That's all you got to do. That is Asuncion hosting, a.k.a. Sunny, okay? You're Asuncion in a Dominican household, but you're Sunny when you go to a black household. You see what I'm saying? I don't like that. Just be who you are. Whoever you are, just be that. Don't try to change for the situation. I'm always me, regardless of where I am. I'm always me. I don't have to be anybody else other than me. But anyway, I digress.
But we are not the rule. And so when it comes to racial inequality, it persists in 5 core aspects of life in the U.S. Economics, education, healthcare, criminal justice, and housing. At nearly every turn, these achievements were fought, threatened, and erased, most often by white violence. You have indicated that you don't believe in systemic racism. What is your definition of systemic racism?
Let me answer the question that you've answered.
Or does it even exist in your mind?
I mean, these questions are so stupid because it's like, man, what are we talking about? Like, what are we even saying? And then the whole thing about, okay, you're the exception. So what? Because I'm black, I'm going to be a failure automatically. And if I'm not a failure, that means I'm just the exception. I just got lucky. So what am I going to tell? Like, okay, if I'm a black person, unlike you, Sonny, hosting, and I got kids, what am I going to tell them? Oh, because you black, you're not going to be able to be anything. And if you are something, it's because you're an exception. It makes no sense. I'm going to say, look, you're in America. You can be whatever you want to be. You are in America. You can be whatever you want to be. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say you're black, you're a failure. That's racism right there. So if you want to get into the idea of racism, how about when people like Sunny Hostin and her ilk are in K through 12 telling that to black and brown kids that because you're that race, you can't be anything. That is systemic racism. How about when you're talking about racial quotas that don't really exist, affirmative action? Okay, that right there is racism, systemic. She's talking about things that are against black people, why they can't rise up or whatever. There's nothing there systemically that is preventing that from happening unless you're talking about yourself. When you go into academia and whatnot, telling kids that they can't be a thing because they're black or they're not white. And really, for real, what you're doing is you're praising the so-called white man, saying, hey, you know what? The white guy can do whatever he wants, but you can't. That's so dumb. It's so dumb. And it's a dumb question to ask. I hate it. I hate it with all my heart and soul.
Let me answer the question this way. One of the things I think about, and one of the reasons why I'm on the show, is because of the comments that were made, frankly, on this show, that the only way for a young African-American kid to be successful in this country is to be the exception and not the rule. Exactly. That is a dangerous, offensive, disgusting message to send to our young people today, that the only way to succeed is by being the exception. I will tell you that if my life is the exception, I can't imagine.
But it is.
But it's not, actually.
It's been 114 years.
Yeah, so the fact
that... So wait, I don't even care nothing about the first black this, the first black that. Who cares? Because you might see a commercial, okay, this person was the first black lesbian entrepreneur of dog walking in Chelsea, New York. I'm like, who cares? Why do I care about that? I don't care. How is that going to help me in my life? Who cares? We live in America. You can do whatever you want to do. So what? I don't care. I could have gone my entire life without hearing that at all. It does not matter. What matters is if you're forward and you're upwardly mobile. That's all that really matters. You, yourself, and your family, those that you support. Anybody else don't matter. I don't care about what Sonny Hostin is doing, Tim Scott is doing. If they do well, then bravo, hats off to them. But how is that going to affect me? How is a black person being in this particular role going to help me? It's not. So what?
The matter is we've had an African-American president, African-American vice president. We've had 2 African-Americans to be secretaries of the state.
It don't even matter. It don't even matter. Hold on. Let's fast forward a little bit because there was one more thing I wanted to get to. All right. They were booing him because Ana Navarro, the lady right here from Nicaragua, who claims to be a Republican, but she's not, she was asking him about the whole thing with DeSantis and Disney. I'm not sure why. He's not DeSantis. He's running for president on his own. He's not Tim Scott, but whatever. And he was saying that how they kind of got on the right foot because the whole thing with Disney was how they trying to brainwash the kids, and the crowd didn't like that too much.
Talking about
do you think Disney's radical left?
Well, I think Disney and Ronnie have been in a combat zone for a number of months over what I thought was the right issue as it relates to our young kids and what they're being indoctrinated with. I thought he started off on the right foot on that issue. It is 100%.
No, not here. I'm sorry, sir. Do not boo. This is the view. We accept we don't have to believe everything people say.
Nah, but you know what? I think she did that because, Tim Scott's black. She didn't want to have him get booed and mistreated by the audience right there in front of her. But the reason why they booed is because they create an environment where they're going to boo a guy like him who has conservative points of view. If you go onto The View and you're not a liberal just like them, they're going to attack you because they, on The View, attack those ideas every single day. So the environment is created for that. But once you get a black guy in there and you black and you want to be a little bit pro-black, unlike the way you were back in the day, we had on the blackface with your boyfriend, your white, what was that? I forget what the guy's name was. But anyway, unlike black back then, you want to be more pro-black now. So you got to kind of like defend him. But ultimately, you attack him all the time with your rhetoric about his particular ideas. And can I say one more thing here?
As it relates to our...
Ana Navarro looks like a slightly polished up version of Rosie O'Donnell. Am I right or wrong on that? I'm not really sure, but that idea came to my mind right now, okay? If Rosie O'Donnell got her hair dyed, okay, and put on a little bit of makeup, she'd be Ana Navarro. They're twins. If you do a 23andMe test between the two of them, they're going to be related some kind of way. First cousins, twin cousins. So shout out to Ana Navarro, Rosie O'Donnell, whoever it is right there. I can't really tell the difference. Same thing to me. But I will go ahead and digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okie dokie. We got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me get to super chats first. Then we get right rocking and rolling. All righty. Shout out to Anthony McQuaid for being a member and the ABL superstar. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Nick Corio, who says, in Ukraine, the long delay offensive has started and has so far been a complete failure. All those tax dollars just for more death and destruction. Exactly. It's a grift. And they probably blew that dam up too to continue to grift, but whatever. Thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says, what is wrong with SPLC? I can't tell. Thank you to Nick Coriel again, who says, The Guardian reported that the former NATO chief has just come out and said that NATO might send troops to Ukraine. Uh-oh. They're already preparing for the ground for NATO intervention like they did for tanks. Crazy. F Ranger Xbox says, Spirit of the Law, I'm with you. Thank you to LW304 2003, who says, I remember Tate actually using pimp lingo to explain his hiring process. He probably did. Thank you to No White Guilt, who says, the smoke here in VADC area from the forest fire and the sonic boom have made this a wild few days. I can imagine. I can most certainly imagine. Thank you to F Ranger Xbox, who says, Eric Adams is going to put an illegal alien or two in every home. I saw that. I think I'm going to do a video about that, actually. Thank you to Lothair Mordred Shirk Media, who says, Hitler was vegetarian and an animal rights activist. These leftists ignore their similarities to a dictator, but calls everybody that they disagree with a fascist. Correct. Correct. That's pretty much the way it is. Let me see if I can find that clip to save it. Pardon me. I'm going to do a video about that because that whole thing is crazy. Eric Adams is a mess. And I saw the video about him, about the crack pipe vending machine. That is coming out tomorrow. Y'all look out for that. Crack pipe vending machine, New York City, can't make it up. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and get into it. The number to call, 434-658-1220. There's also an email to call in through Skype. If you can't get through Skype, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. Y'all know how we do. Yeah, Ukraine did get flooded because the dam got broke, and I wonder who did that. Probably Ukraine themselves. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Now what?
How you doing, buddy?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Not a lot, man. Just enjoying the show tonight. I wasn't sure what to talk about. One thing I did want to do is give props to all the men and women from the 40s that fought the evil that was Nazi Germany and pretty much made this country what it is now, and people have the rights that they got, but they don't really show appreciation to those men and women. But I digress. All right. Then you get talking about the schools and teachers. I'll tell you, okay, I'm 43, so I was a kid in the 80s and the 90s. I graduated high school in 98. And looking back, I had some great teachers. I had amazing teachers that taught me so much. And there was one guy in high school when I was a freshman, or when we had wood shop, actually. And he was a cool dude. Like, he would let us come in, and back then, and this is a small town in Oklahoma too, so keep that in mind. Yeah, he'd let us sharpen our pocket knives in woodshop class.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he'd let us, and after we built our first little project, which was just a simple little footstool, after that, he's like, you guys can build whatever you want, and a lot of guys were building like bows and arrows, and I built some stuff that would not be allowed today, obviously,
Of course.
But it didn't matter. But yeah, it was such a much better time. I mean, it's like, come on, we're young men, because it was all men. There was no girls in woodshop class, Yeah, he'd wrestle around with us, and he'd taken all the biggest football players and just, demolish them. And it was all good. We were all having fun together. And then I always took typing class ever since junior high, and I ended up being the fastest typer in high school. There was one girl that was really close to me, but like in the end, like senior year, I was the one that was typing 90 words a minute. And I would do that to finish my assignments during that class so I could play Doom on the computer.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. That just, hearing all that talk about what's going on nowadays, it's like, God, it just makes me reminisce about the good old days, because, man, I don't have any kids, and I wouldn't want them to go to public schools nowadays. I really wouldn't, with this indoctrination and all this trans crap. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I can understand why parents are mad.
Oh, absolutely.
But, yeah. I'll leave it there. I just wanted to get that off my chest a little bit. Love you, man. Love everybody in the chat. Everyone here. And, yeah, I'm going to sit back and listen to everyone else.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Later, dude.
All right, now. Sorry for the loud noise. I couldn't control that because YouTube is, not YouTube, but Skype is messing up. Let's get that fixed right quick. Okay, we're good. We are good in the hood. Okie dokie. Let's keep on rocking. Yeah, I got headphones on too, so I suffer just like y'all suffer if you have on headphones. Let me just make sure I'm good. Microphone and everything is the way it's supposed to be. Okie dokie. We're good to go. Let's keep on rocking. All right, let's go to 859. You don't know how much speaker to.
Yo, ABL, how's it going? I'm loving the show. It's the Luciferian Libertarian from Lexington. What's up, man?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Oh, not much, man. Like, listen, I saw the video you made about Andrew Tate. I mean, yeah, it's not illegal to be a sociopathic manipulator, but it's still kind of bad. And
a sociopath?
I think. Well, yeah, it's not illegal. I agree with you on that, but the whole interview that he had is like, well, he is known for being a bit of a narcissist and kind of a bit of a manipulator, and I think the guy's not a good guy. Is he guilty for human trafficking? I'm kind of in the sense of like, it wouldn't surprise me if he's guilty, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was innocent. What do you think?
I don't know about all that. I don't really see the evidence of him being a human trafficker. So I don't think that would happen, but it's possible if they have certain laws that interpret things a different way than the way I would see it.
Well, I mean, the guy is rich. He's wealthy. And how many times this guy's probably been blackmailed, and how he acts doesn't help. So it's easy. It's pretty easy to blackmail this guy, and I think it could be a blackmail, or it could be a legitimate thing. We don't know because how he acts. I mean, you get my point. And don't get me wrong. There's some stuff about Andrew Tate I agree with, but there's some stuff in his actions. He acts like a spoiled child. And I see through it.
Okay.
And I just, to me, I don't view that as masculine. I view somebody like Jordan Peterson as more masculine, or Schwarzenegger, or somebody like you, more of a better influence of masculinity. This guy, he got rich off of just doing Airbnbs, no joke, renting sports cars, saying he's rich. He gets big, and then he gets rich. He's a TikTok influencer. I know plenty of people
like, why is that a bad thing if that's how you get rich?
That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually, that's marketing by itself.
So I don't understand. It's like, but you were saying that's why you get rich. It's like, why mention that if it's not, I mean, like, what was the purpose of mentioning it?
Well, to me, it's like, it's something to strive for. I mean, you should teach kids these days to be doctors or be lawyers or, you know,
it's a lot of ways to skin the cat. I mean, everybody can't be doctor or a lawyer. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat. I mean, this is America. My thing would be, hey, you can make money a lot of different ways. You don't have to be one thing. You might not be a good doctor or a good lawyer. You might be good at selling things. You might be good at being a sales rep. You could be the best sales rep. You might be good at being something else. You might be good at construction, building houses. Huh?
Yeah, definitely. I think you'd probably be good selling houses.
Yeah, whatever you're good at in America, as long as you're making a legal buck, I don't see the problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't see the problem either, but I think his character is. There's lots to criticize, even if he's completely innocent of all those things. I'm just saying he's not a good influence.
Okay.
You get where I'm coming from. I think masculinity takes stoicism. He is not stoic. Just saying. That's how I view it. I think he's a bit of a narcissist. And I think it is bad. And I can understand why the interviewer was kind of being rough. And I kind of don't blame her. I mean, the other things, the human trafficking, you're right. There's not enough evidence. He could be completely, majority of the time, most likely, he's probably completely innocent. You know?
Right on.
And that's how I feel. And that's how I feel about it. So, you know, I mean, you may disagree with me on that, and that's fine. That's cool.
Right now, I'm with you.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Hey, I'm loving the show, man. I love you, man. Keep on rocking, bro. Much love, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You too, bro. We're going to hang out sometime in Lexington, bro.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and go 304 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Derek, your favorite Georgia/West Virginia boy.
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh man, not a whole lot. Just watching the Heat and the Nuggets and listening to you all at the same time.
Right on.
I tried my best to call in last week, but I didn't get through. But anyways, I was just want to talk about a couple of things you spoke on tonight, and a couple of things from last week, because there's just a couple that I just really wanted to talk about. But anyways, the Travis Rudolph, man, I cannot believe he got out of that with all charges dropped. I thought they would at least get him for something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I agree with him protecting his home and himself and whatever, but the way he was running through the yard, running down the street, just spraying bullets in a neighborhood like that he didn't at least get something just for shooting crazy like that in a neighborhood, because 2 guys got hit. Obviously one died, but where did all the other bullets go? How many homes had holes in them? I'm sure there had to have been a few.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But the sonic boom, whenever they were going after the little Cessna, that I don't know how fast they go, but I lived in Dallas, Georgia, which my dad worked at Lockheed in Marietta, Georgia, and planes were flying over my house all the time, and we actually had a sonic boom once. It was a pilot. I'm not sure what kind of plane he was flying, but he was flying too low when he broke the sound barrier, and we had a sonic boom, and it rattled our cabinets loose from the ceiling. I mean, that's how powerful it is. But I think that the sonic boom could have been avoided. They could have reached the altitude they got to reach before they break the sound barrier, and then caught up to the little Cessna going however fast. I don't think they had to create a sonic boom that the public would have heard or felt.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible, but they were also like in a super urban area. But then again, I mean, the boom was felt for a wide area. It was like, it started right there in DC, but they felt it like in West Virginia, like it was a really wide area. So I don't know, maybe they could have lessened it, but it still might have been pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it could have been avoided. I mean, unless they were just really, really concerned about that plane and absolutely had to catch up to it as fast as possible. But I don't think a Cessna could have been that much of a threat to where they had to, I don't know. The guy that created the sonic boom where I lived years ago, he lost his pilot's license and everything else. He got in big trouble for that.
Right.
But, yeah. But the teacher wearing the protect trans kids, okay, whenever I was in school, I don't know exactly how it is now because I've been out of school just about as long as you have. I graduated in 2004. But, they would have casual Fridays every now and then. But, teachers usually just had to dress, not suit and tie per se, but at least halfway professional. And what if a kid, showed up wearing a shirt that says, I don't know, I'm straight and I have straight parents and I'm proud of that. Like, what would happen if a student did that? I mean, are they going to get harassed? Are they going to get in trouble? Are they going to make them? I know whenever students would break dress code in school, they would have to turn their shirt inside out, or if it was a girl showing too much skin, they had like these hideous hoodies that they would make them wear. But like, what if a student was something that was the opposite of protect trans and instead saying, proud to be straight with my straight parents, like what would happen then?
I mean, that's a really good question. I think that might be somebody, they might try to attack them like the same way it was back in the day when the kids would wear stuff that was too short or revealing or whatever. It might be the same thing depending upon where you are, which is crazy.
Yeah, that teacher, I imagine, was in a real liberal place. I don't know if you said where it was or not, but yeah, that makes sense too. But it doesn't. I don't think it should be allowed anywhere. But last week, the AI, drone that deleted its master or whatever in the simulation. I think it did that because it had incentive as far as it was getting points, and so whenever the operator was like no, and so it caught some feelings as far as, okay, it's taking away my points.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it turned, but it's still scary if AI can really get feelings like that, that's what's scary to me. So if you're going to use AI for certain things, you shouldn't give an incentive. You should just tell it what to do, point blank, period, and it should do exactly what it's told. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yep.
All right. One last thing. You were talking about the immigration and everything, and the work that the immigrants do. They do a lot of work, and they do work fast. But it comes a time where you got to choose between quality and quantity, right? And that's the reason why a lot of these buildings and structures, homes, whatever it may be, they're not built right, because it's cheap and they can get it done really quick, and they know just enough to put things together, but yet they cut corners, and all of that.
Right on.
And oftentimes too, I mean, I've worked in the construction industry. I've been around them, and a lot of times, man, those guys that get picked up at Home Depot or wherever, they a lot of times those guys will just work them all day, and then not even pay them, because the illegals, what are they going to do? Who are they going to call and say, I worked and didn't get paid? They can't call anyone, so they're taking a chance just working for these guys a lot of times.
Exactly.
And then they get all mad, and they'll go and do harm to whoever hired them or whatever, and that causes crime to go up.
Right. Exactly. You can't be doing that, man. But thank you for your call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Up off here. I'll holler at you later.
All right, now. Yeah, that's crazy how they do the illegal aliens coming into work. That is how that happens for sure. All right, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's go to 504 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Alien Spaceship.
All righty, what's going on?
All right. So I wanted to make a comment about something from last time with the AI. I was doing a live stream, and we were talking about it, and one of my subscribers was telling me that they feel that the automated machines, the automated systems, are the things to be more concerned about.
I think it's all kind of the same, really, because it's all
that's what I think.
Same principle, yeah.
Yeah, because it has to do with the Amazon fire, not the Amazon fire, the Amazon thing that you could talk to, and the different stuff in the houses, you could talk to different things, those kind of things. Because they're kind of like what we were talking about last time, how they're recording what you're saying, and the AI has to do with more with other things. But I think they're both linked together. But AI being used as those automated systems, I feel is to be concerned about, like we were saying before.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right. And the other night, I was watching a stream about what Antifa was doing, and I think it was absolutely silly with the fighting. I remember they were fighting, and it was it reminds me of Germany and Russia when they had their revolutions. But these the soy people, Antifa is very soy, and it was good that the police broke it up. And I just can't understand why these people want to do these bad things, put LGBTQ stuff in children.
Well, we know what the next step is. They want to just try to get the kids on their side as far as that community is concerned. So that's really what the long and short. I mean, this is becoming mainstream because they see an opportunity to get what they want out of it.
Exactly, and the indoctrination of the children, and they want to do something else. I've noticed where they want to say gay and straight people. It's they want to make it like the class oppression thing or the race thing. They're trying to put a Marxist form of thought into them to prepare them for a Marxist type system. And obviously that's what they're trying to do also.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I will say that I saw the Andrew Tate interview. It was an uncut version of it, and yeah, I think he defended himself, and with the allegations, I don't know of. It seems like he's innocent, and I understand that he feels and others feel that there's like the Matrix out to get him, and I understand that media does want to censor people that are speaking against certain things that they don't want people to speak about. And if there are people that are good at a task or something, like I like doing YouTube, or people that did the computers, like they built the computers and stuff, if people have a special skill and a dream and a desire, I think, in my opinion, it's right for them to pursue it.
Makes sense to me. Absolutely.
Because like some people like at school thought it was strange that I was into the aliens and stuff, but then on YouTube now, as you could see, it was worth it. And it's good to follow the heart, to do what you want. And there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with having money and providing for yourself and your family. I think it'd be a good tool. I understand people shouldn't make money their God, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being wealthy. And I think wealthy people are very good at helping with charities.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that should be everybody's goal, is to be good at whatever you're doing. If you become wealthy, then so be it. And if you want to be charitable, if you want to help others get jobs and employ people, that's what makes the world go round, is employment. So, that's not a bad thing to do. People that kind of relegate against wealth, that's when you get into the whole communism thing. And if nobody is wealthy, then nobody is. If nobody's wealthy, then everybody's poor. That's kind of what that goes. Except for those that run those situations, the political leaders, they got plenty of money. It's like Kim Jong-il, whatever his name is, out there in North Korea right now. He's a fat cat. Well, yeah, starving people.
Right. And I've noticed, and I was just studying yesterday, because I like looking at history things about not the Russian one, the French Revolution, and how it was Masonic, and they replaced God with some other kind of deity, and they were doing these evil things, and they killed Christians with the guillotine, and they killed the king, and the king was trying to reform it. And France had some issues. I'm part French, but those are the people that started a tyrannical reign when they accused the monarchy of it, and this led to communism and those different things. Like in Russia, they don't know Lenin's net worth, and it was like the wealthiest country on the planet at the time, and no one knows where the wealth went, but it had to go somewhere.
Of course, absolutely.
And and I think people, maybe on the right and left, in my opinion, have been infiltrated and have been conditioned at various points by these Marxist ideas to be against the wealth and things, because the communists, they take all the money and they take all the seize the means of production, and they're the ones that get all the money, as you just said. I agree. That's how it goes. Yeah, and I will say about the plane crash, that was really crazy what you're showing. Those people that died in those plane crashes, and also that one, the jet.
Yeah, that was a while back in Virginia. That was crazy. I remember when that happened. And it was a miracle that nobody died in that one in Virginia where they crashed into the apartment building, because, I mean, it could have been anybody in there. It could have been filled, but it was a certain time of day where nobody was there. It was a miracle. It really was.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. And I believe in miracles. And it will take a miracle to save the country, because I know there's also a lot of distractions in the media that are going on, because they want to distract people from the main problems that are going on, like the food shortages and stuff. One more thing I'll say before I get off is that that fog or that haze in New York, that is crazy. That's really crazy. And you said you saw like a little bit of haze.
Yeah, there was a slight haze here, but nothing quite like New York, not the orange color. It looked like it was kind of overcast, like it was going to rain, but it didn't rain. That's kind of the way it looked earlier today.
All right. And I may have not have caught this in the beginning, but what exactly caused it?
It's a Canadian wildfire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I remember. All right, ABL, that's all I have to say for this call. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internet. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all the good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's keep on rocking and rolling right here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let's keep on going. Who am I speaking to? 347 on the line.
Good evening, ABL. How you doing? This is Lee calling from the Bronx.
All right, man. What's going on?
I'm cool. I just wanted to call in about the Travis Rudolph case.
Yeah.
Were you watching the case? Because they were showing it live on TV.
Yeah, I followed quite a bit of it.
Okay. I just wanted to call in because like I hear people making they're saying some things that aren't correct. I was following the case live on YouTube. He wasn't chasing the car. He ran out the house. So there's video of him running out the house. And then you see a scene of the car driving away. But that's not a continuous scene. There were things that were going on in between that. So he ran out the house because his brother was actively being jumped by two of the guys. Now, according to him, he said that they pointed guns from the car. That's why he shot at them. Before then, he didn't shoot at them. Because when he came out the house, he went to one, and one of them said, "Hey, you got it." So if he wanted to shoot them, he could have immediately started shooting them, but he didn't. He said, according to him, that two of the guys stole their weapons from the car. That's why he started shooting. Now, the one of them that got shot that lived, his name is Tyler. He actually had an illegal firearm on him that he tossed, right? The K9 unit found that gun. He didn't let the police know that he had that gun. And he did not have a concealed carry license, which made the gun illegal. But the lead detective never charged him with that. And he actually tossed it. And he never divulged that information until they came and told him, right? So right there, I guess the jury, looking at that, I guess that's one of the things that swayed their decision. Plus, he had to be subpoenaed to come into court to answer questions. He didn't volunteer to answer questions. Also, the girlfriend, Dominique, sent text messages saying to shoot his ass up. And the brother said, he's a dead man walking. So even though there was, you don't see a lot of stuff on video, there's not captured on video. This, the testimony and the evidence that they had is what they based the decision on. So if you take all that together, it's really not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really not a surprise that they made the decision that they made.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. It definitely makes sense. Now, I will say,
Yes.
if I was him, if I'm gonna play Monday morning quarterback and look on it, I would see some things that I would have done differently. But at the same time, if everything is happening in real time and you making snap decisions, I could understand why he did what he did.
I mean, I definitely would have called the cops. I probably wouldn't have went outside.
Right.
Even from the beginning, messing with a girl like that. Now, also another thing, the lady, she testified in court that she did not tell him that she was married. And then they asked her, well, why didn't you tell him? And she said, oh, because that wasn't her business for him to tell. So he did not know. This is what she actually testified before the jury. So he did not know that she was married. But, and still, I'm sure there was other things that were red flag, like him beating on her, because a neighbor also came and testified, the next door neighbor that lived across the street. He testified that he would see Dominique beating on him and Travis would just stand there and take the hits, So besides him not knowing she was married, there were other red flags for him not to deal with her. But like you said, there were other things he could have done, like, he should have called the cops on her once she started hitting him.
Right.
Once she started breaking stuff, he should have called the cops right there. When they came, like you said, he could have talked to them through the door, called the cops then. But, just for clarity, because there's things that are being said, like you had a caller said that he was shooting indiscriminately in the street, and that's not what happened. He ran outside. He actually, once he got his gun, he actually showed gun control, because one of the guys that had the gun, that brandished the gun, he didn't shoot him at first. He only shot when he saw those guns. So one of the also they had an expert come in because the guy that died, he died with a gun imprint, and they call that a death grip. They said this is usually how people that die in war and combat, when they're holding a firearm and then they die suddenly, their hand usually have that grip. So they're trying to say that, what's being assumed is that the other guys took the gun out his hand. And it also showed that on their when the police finally got to them, they passed 2 hospitals. So the police on the body cam said, "Hey, why did you pass this place? Why you pass that place?" And it was like, we don't know. But when you look at the trial, the lead detective, she didn't follow up at all. Because Travis's lawyer asked the lead detective, say, "Hey, isn't it a felony to carry a gun without a license?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Why did you, charge the guy for that? Why didn't you charge Dominique for tampering with evidence when she deleted the messages, to shoot his ass up and dead man walking?" So, all those things added up, taken into consideration with the fact that they came there at 9 and everything like that, I'm assuming is why the jury made their decision. So I just wanted to put that 2 cents in there, so just to have some clarity.
Well, thank you for your call, man. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Same to you. That's very well said. I mean, yeah, I definitely see why he was able to go ahead and beat that. Yeah, definitely, for sure. But like I say, and like he was saying too, we could play Monday morning quarterback and look at some things that he could have done differently. But I think ultimately the jury had access to all of that and they were handed it. You can't say he was guilty. At best, there was going to be a hung jury. But I think the right decision was made, considering all the evidence that we know. All right, man, what's going on?
Hey, man, long time no see.
It's been a while.
Been a hot minute, hasn't it?
Yep.
We get those clouds over here in Japan too from China occasionally, which is a little odd. I love these conspiracy theories, though. I hear these things. It's like, yeah, they released some kind of, chemical. They're burning something to sterilize us all. Man, I hear the weirdest stuff. Anyway, that last caller, man, that was great. Dude needs to go to law school.
Yeah, for real, nailed it.
He did. That was really good. That was well researched, well thought out, well explained. Well done, sir.
Absolutely.
Well done. I want to talk about Little Mermaid. If that's all right with you.
Go for it.
Actually, I had a meeting earlier, and I was here like right when you started, and then I had a meeting and I had to leave and come back. So I missed some of it. I don't know what you talked about yet. I didn't get a chance to catch up, but as a redhead, I'm feeling the redhead genocide.
Oh, okay.
No joke. I mean, like, oh God, now I sound like Biden. It's not a joke. Yeah, we're like getting nixed everywhere we go. I mean, I don't care so much about race swapping, but I do like, I think it's insulting. I mean, I don't know how other people feel about this, and I would really like to know how you feel about this. But for years, Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, they created good characters for these guys to play. Right? Characters were created, or you used characters that showed a good history of, I don't know what you would call it, but whatever culture you're trying to portray, you would do it well. And then now you have Cleopatra and whatever, and you're just like, yeah, I feel like there's a genocide against not just redheads, but in general, they want people to be angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think people should not care, or do you think we should come up with characters that portray any given culture accurately and then write those characters well?
I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of race swapping. I think they should just create original characters. That's my opinion about it. But I think the reality is that the target audience of this movie won't really care. You're talking about little kids who never you probably seen the movie before. They don't even know what this is. So
it's a little odd though if she's supposed to be his daughter, and you're like, how many wives has this dude had? You know, like her sister's Asian. You know,
yeah, but little kids don't know nothing about that. They might ask a question maybe, but they don't really understand. They're not gonna look into it too deep. Like it's the adults that probably would ask that question because they're a little bit. The adults are kind of be weirded out, but little kids you could say, oh nah, yeah, that's a daughter, different color. Like okay, cool, no problem. Adults not the same, but my point is that little kids ain't really going to care about it. It's those that grew up with it who remember Little Mermaid being different. That the white redhead Ariel, they remember her and not Holly Belly with the dreads. They're not going to see. It won't make sense to them, but little kids won't care.
Well, she can sing for sure. I'm not so sure about her acting, but she can sing.
Oh yeah,
love that. I love that part. I did not like the fact that they changed the story to kind of fit. I don't know.
So have you seen the actual movie?
Parts of it. So I used to work for Disney.
Okay.
And so that's how I came here actually. I used to work for Disney, got transferred. I was an artist in the park and I liked it. But the whole thing of the animation that we used to have was beautiful and it told a story and it was really good. And it was poorly animated. I mean, for a live action, you got really badly done CGI. It looked like it was all meant to just tell this, I don't know, ideology.
Yeah.
That was just really poorly done for me. Anyway, yeah, that's that. All right. Well, I know you got a lot on your plate. A lot of good callers tonight. That was really good before. You guys take care. Don't breathe that stuff in. Who knows what it'll do to you.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. Appreciate you.
Hey, last time I said, on my way out, I said, vote local.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that. I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. And you know how, I don't know if you guys have heard that George Soros has been buying off local DAs. Have you heard this?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done a show on that yet? I'd really like to hear your thoughts on that.
I've not done a show about that yet, but I might have to look into it and do one.
Yeah, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on that. That'd be great. Because as much as I say vote local, half my time over here is spent as a designer, but the other half is spent as a missionary. And everybody over here is looking for something. And so that kind of background philosophy and theology in my life, yeah, I want to vote local. I think your local community is where you get things done. But even on more on top of that, despite voting local, I think we're really gonna have to look at how we deal with our neighbors on a one-to-one basis, because I see people getting really upset and talking about obviously all the different things that are going on in the world, but some of this stuff is easily avoided. And people's tempers need to subside a little bit. And I don't think anybody else can do that but us. So even on top of voting local, I think we're going to have to treat our neighbor with respect, whether you get it or not. And that's just, I don't know.
I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you for sure.
Anyway, always appreciate you, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. See you, brother. Bye.
All right. Great call. That's my man from James from Japan. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. The number to call, y'all know what it is, 434-658-1220. 470, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
You're getting nervous, man. Hey, what's going on, Anthony?
Hey, not too much. What's happening?
This is Greg from Wild and Wacky Atlanta. How you doing tonight, sir?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, I'm doing okay on D-Day +1. The 79th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy yesterday.
That's right.
And I don't think Biden mentioned a damn thing about it.
Yeah, if he did, I don't remember it at all. I I think he doesn't really know what's going on at this point. He's just kind of going through the motions.
No, it's more than dementia. He just doesn't care. You know, it's America Last. He doesn't care about America and people that died for it. So, yeah, man. Not to keep going on about D-Day, but I learned some interesting things about D-Day yesterday. They said about, I think it was like the first 3 hours, we lost about 3,000 guys on Omaha Beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, incredible. There's one German soldier named Heinrich Severloh who fired at the Americans from a pillbox for 9 hours straight with his MG-42 machine gun. Then, after switching out barrels, he ran out of ammo. He switched to his K98 Mauser rifle and shot this one guy, this one American who he thinks he was shot by Heinrich Severloh, went back and met the guy. I think it was like 50 years after the war, around 1995 or so. And so, met each other on the beach and we're friends again for a couple hours.
Wow.
Pretty wild how life works out. Yeah, that last guy that was talking about the Little Mermaid, though, yeah, the left is real big into this race swapping the past 4 or 5 years. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's weird. Like they're trying to just take characters, make them be something different. I don't really like it. I'd rather you just create another character of whatever race you want to make rather than just trying to take something that already existed. It's kind of weird to me.
Well, it's beyond weird. It's historical propaganda. And it's inaccurate and it's disingenuous because they've also done this with Joan of Arc, I understand, and also with Gustav Mannerheim of Finland. Finland was allies with Germany during World War II, and they made him black.
They also, like that. Yeah, like some of them, like some things, if it's like a fantasy type of thing, like, you know, the Little Mermaid, maybe I can understand. Maybe I still don't like it, but it's not as bad as making Anne Boleyn black. Because like Anne Boleyn, really, I don't
exactly. Get it. That's why I say it's historically inaccurate. I mean, if the character is originally white, then keep them white.
Yeah.
You know, if the character is originally historically black or Chinese or whatever, then keep them black or Chinese.
Yeah.
Don't swap them from a non-white race. But no, they'll swap various people for, you know, black races, but they won't do it with Hitler. They won't have a black Hitler.
They ain't doing that. Not at all.
No, that would be too controversial and offensive. But anyway, everything's going fine here in Atlanta, but I do want to share a story with you, and I want to give you major trigger warnings. This is a very disturbing story I heard yesterday afternoon around 2 o'clock. One of my neighbors told me about this lady. She waived her appearance in court about 3 days ago. She took her 2 babies and put them in an oven back in October 2017. Her name was Lamora Williams. And it's terrible. I'm really disturbed by it.
Totally crazy. I mean, you got some sick people out here in the world, and they got to, at a certain point, they got to get put down.
Oh, yeah, Anthony. And the story gets worse. I mean, just when you think it can't get worse, it does. She video chatted her boyfriend while he was at work. He saw the 2 dead bodies of his boys. They're 1 and 2 years old. And it even worse than that, there was a third boy that I just found out about because I did some research on the story because it was so effed up. He saw the whole event going on. And so this boy's going to be scarred for life.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, sorry, people, this is not what we do in Atlanta, but there are some effed up people everywhere, and there's some really effed up people here in Atlanta, and this is just something that happened. I had to get that off my mind because it was really bothering me for over a day and a half. I couldn't stop thinking about it, you know.
Right.
But anyway, sorry, I don't want to bring you down or anything, but it's just a shocking story from wild and wacky Atlanta, and that's the really sad part about it. So anyway, man, you be safe. We'll talk next Wednesday. Take care. Would you come down to Atlanta? Just be careful.
Will do, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless you. Take care.
All right, now.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, it's the evil world we live in. There's a lot of stuff going on out here. It's crazy. It's a whole lot happening. Let's keep on rocking here. The number to call, you guys know what it is, 434-658-1220. 860, the line, how am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony Ranger. How you doing, ABL?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Oh God! Before I get triggered, I gotta let you know what my pronouns are. See, I identify as royalty, so my pronouns are Your Majesty, Your Highness, Sire, and my all-time favorite. But you got to be a close friend or relative is my liege. Just so we got that out in the open.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Hey, I can out stupid anybody. So anyway, I know there's so many things to talk about, but I just want to touch on a few things real quick. Real fast. I know you've been talking for 2 hours straight, and that's why I talk, to give you a break. So, California wildfires. When President Trump intelligently and correctly addressed the problems with California, they laughed at him. Said, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Get a bunch of Mexicans in there with rakes to rake the forest?" Well, for those people out there that don't know, that they have these things called heavy equipment, bulldozers and front-end loaders. And some of these machines have different attachments. And one of the blades is called a rake because it has tines that are about 4 inches apart. And if a D8 bulldozer is coming along, it's going to move. And the problem with California is we got to save the trees. But California is a unique environment. It truly is. You got the Sierra Madres there, and when the wind and the moisture comes off the ocean, it goes up over the mountains, way up into the atmosphere, the moisture, and lands in the middle of the country. That's why we have a desert there, Death Valley.
Right.
That's why Death Valley exists. The problem is the trees, California soil and land and moisture can only support approximately 20 to 30 trees per acre. When these lunatics get in there, they haven't got a clue about anything, but they're all super emotional because they have not been educated. They've been indoctrinated. And when you can't reason, you fall back on emotions. And that leads to extinction. Fear will get you killed every time. And but what happens in California, you got almost 100 trees per acre. And what does a tree do? It sucks up all the moisture in the area, making everything very dry. Does that make sense?
It does, yes.
Thank you. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I get bored.
Right.
So the wildfires up in Canada, what they're really not broadcasting was they're pushing this equity. Men can do what women can do, and women can do what men can do. Well, no, they can't. You give me a company of women. Now, I'm not saying there's not successful women soldiers, but you put a company of 100 women out there, and you put them up against 100 Marines that are men, I'm going to bet my money on the men. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
Knock down fight. A man's body is designed to fight nature and put up with the abuses of, going after the wildebeest and stabbing it with a stone spear. A woman's body is designed to deal with the abuses of child abuse, and God bless them. I could not imagine what it's like to be kicked in the kidney from the inside. Could you imagine that?
Nah, not at all. Yeah.
I had nothing but sympathy and admiration for my wife the whole time she was going through that. And so anything she wanted, she got. Now, the trans agenda, so that's what started that. They were doing a training burn for this company of women firefighters up in Canada, and it got out of control because they didn't handle the situation, and they didn't have backups. So the wildfire just went. So that's why they're not really talking about it a lot. They don't want you to know the truth.
Oh, no, they can't know about that, yeah.
And about Andrew Tate, I've watched a lot of his videos. And I encourage, my 10-year-old son says, I watch his videos. I said, good, you keep watching them. Because he's never said anything abusive towards women. I haven't hit a girl since I was like 4 or 5 years old when my dad took his belt to my backside. And that's what these kids need in these schools. When they took discipline out of the schools, violence came in.
Right.
There's no fear of consequences anymore. You take the fear of consequences away, you got a jungle. That's not directed at color. That's directed at human nature. You take the fear of consequences away, you got jungle. That's like when they did the balloon mortgages. And then the next one was the welfare moms getting McMansions that they couldn't afford, you know?
Right.
They take the consequences away. And it's all being done on purpose. And when they talk, teachers, and God bless you if you're a teacher out there, you have my utmost respect. I can't do it. But teachers are not the highest in their class, graduating class most of the time. Because if they were, they wouldn't be teachers. They'd be working at, NASA or someplace like that. But the whole point is everything that's being done right now is being done by the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab, son of a Nazi, Hitler's inner circle. George Soros, Nazi, period. And George Soros is after America to get revenge for America destroying Nazi Germany. And the tactics they're using are all the same tactics. Antifa was created in Germany in the 20s and 30s to counter the Russian communist influence. Antifa's been around for a long time, and all the tactics that the Antifa's used during 2020 during the riots were developed by the Hong Kong people fighting the communist Chinese. The frozen water bottles, the umbrellas, all that stuff was used in Hong Kong. So the Chinese operators that were down in Texas when Trump closed down that consulate, they were going around teaching. Because remember what Patrice Cullor said, we are trained communists. And I want to close on this. Steven Spielberg rented one of those Playboy Girls of the Month for $17,500 for a night.
See, there you go. Yep.
That Hugh Hefner was running an exclusive call girl service, but Tate has never done that. Yeah, he run phone girls and the webcam girls, but they also started a casino, and that's where he got the lion's share of his money from, is his ownership in a casino. And and I'm going to close with everybody, get off of Facebook and get on Wimkin. It's owned by a young man in Pennsylvania, and he's truly about free speech, and he posts up all the documentation and letters that the government gave him demanding user information and everything. He says, no, I'm not going to do it. And all the court stuff and everything he's fought. But our government is currently at war with us. For those of you out there that don't understand that, are they governing like they love you? If the answer is no, then they're trying to hurt you. And I'll close with that, ABL. You have a great night. God bless. And God bless the kids at Portland Middle School here in Portland, Connecticut. 2 young black men, 14 years old. One kid who's in the boxing got 3 different awards for scholastic achievement. I went up and shook that young man's hand, said, awesome job, dude. And that made my night. Watching those kids, it made my night, because those black kids are only like, it's about 20% in the school,
right on.
And 3 of them are up there getting awards for scholastic achievements.
Right
my
on,
daughter got one for singing.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, I'm sorry, AB. I took enough time. You have a great night. God bless America.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, Please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, I got a little bit more time left. 929, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? All right, I'm not sure what's happening. I think Skype messing up. Okay, Skype wants to get his mind of his own. So, hey, y'all know what I say. It's not my fault. Please blame the white man. Let me try to restart Skype right quick. Let me keep on rocking and rolling. I got a little bit more time for a couple more calls, I suppose. And let's just do it that way. All right, let's see if Skype wants to start. And I think we are going good here. All right. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hold on. Give me a second because I think I'm having an issue with Skype.
Yeah, you were, because it wasn't, the calls weren't going through when you made a call. So I think it is your Skype.
I think we're good now. I can hear you.
Yeah, I think it's okay now. I'll make it quick, ABL. I don't know about you, but actually I love when the left say things like, a 3-year-old can decide whether they want to be trans or not. I like when they're radical like that because it shows their true agenda. If they were more moderate, more people would go, would fall for their arguments. But they alienate people that would even be on their side. They have, the trans movement has even alienated some lesbian and gay people, let alone people like Bill Maher, who was on the left himself. But when the left becomes so radicalized that they say such ridiculous things, like a 3-year-old can decide whether they're trans or not, or a 3-year-old can make any decision. I'll tell you what, a 3-year-old thinks that he's Superman, let him go on the roof and jump off the roof and think he can fly. I don't want to stifle my kid, so I'm going to let him jump off the roof because he wants to be Superman and we don't want to stifle that. I love it when they're radical like that, the ABL, and they say some really, really stupid stuff because it gets more people to move towards the right. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my opinion. So I want to see them say things like this. I really do. I can't get enough of it when they're so ridiculous with their ideas. It just makes people turn against them even more.
You got a point. Definitely got a point.
Anyway, ABL, that's all I needed to say today. I don't have too much. Oh, one thing about that shooting. It is the totality of the circumstance that got him off. The text messages from the girl saying go over there and kill him. He didn't go to their place. He wasn't at a party with somebody else. They came to his home, and he did hold back. Now, it wasn't too smart to shoot at the car, even though he saw them lift their guns or whatever. But when you start shooting at a target, a moving car like that, your rounds, you are responsible for every single round that comes out of your gun. And it could miss, go right past the car and into a home and kill somebody else. Now, it didn't do that. It killed the intended target. So, I believe that's why he got off. I would have stayed in the house, and I would have told everybody stay in the house, like you said, and come through my door, and I'm gonna take care of business. But it's hard to prove that you were in danger when you are pursuing the offender. Once the offender is there, once he leaves and is running away or leaving, it's hard to prove that you were defending your life. But the totality of the circumstance, I believe, is what let him get off. Anyway, that's it for me this week, ABL. Always a great show, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Everything that happened, the whole situation, the whole everything that happened, all the circumstance, that is what got him off. If not for that, he'd be in some trouble for sure, definitely. But everything that came together worked in his favor. The main thing was he got set up and it came to his house, wasn't in trouble. So it's like, okay, now what happens here? What's the deal here? All right. So thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. I think that might be a wrap for the calls tonight. You guys are fantastic. I'll be back here live on Saturday, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So right around now, it's about 11 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you all for being here, for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to the mods if you're here, for keeping the trolls nice and in check. I appreciate y'all for that. I got a few more super chats here. I'm going to read, then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. Let me see. Where am I at? Thank you to F Ranger Xbox. I think that's my one I left off on. He says, next Putin is going to attack St. Petersburg. Right. Thank you to A. Kano, who says, love you always, brother. Can't stick around for the calls. Cooking dinner. Shout out to you and the dinner. Thank you to Michael Critchlow, who says, you think the witches eating the deer is real? I don't know. I saw that and I almost did a video on it, but it's like, I can't even really believe it. Now, I just don't know. With the way things are nowadays, I have no idea what's going on. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there was a video, not a video, pardon me, a picture, like a screenshot of a video floating around. If there's a video I don't know, I've not looked into it that deeply. But there was a video, and it said that a woman had a camera in the backyard, and then she captured two quote-unquote witches eating a deer carcass. And it was on the ground. Like, they didn't have a campfire or nothing like that. I did not see no kebabs, no spit with fire up underneath it. They were just digging into it like they were animals, but these are human beings, like wearing panties, and it was weird. I don't know what's going on, but the way things are going nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did do that. Not in the least bit. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't real. Hopefully we don't have no human beings eating from a dead animal on the ground. I mean, at least cook it first. You can get some venison. That's okay, but why we gotta just eat from... Anyway, I digress. And thank you to Slenderella Charming for the super chat with the dancing emoji. I appreciate you for that. Okay, dokie. That'll be a wrap for me tonight. Thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.